Hello there, and welcome to Everything About Earth. Tonight, the question lingers like a faint star on the horizon, delicate yet persistent. What if Earth had a twin planet? Not a distant exoplanet circling another sun, but a true sibling, born, in the same breath, sharing the same cradle of dust and light. Perhaps it orbits nearby. Perhaps it hides just out of sight, or perhaps it once was here and has since disappeared into silence. Wherever you are, whether in the warmth of afternoon or in the deep calm of night, I hope you are comfortable, ready to drift with me, ready to breathe slowly, to let the edges of thought soften and to wonder. If the idea stirs you gently, I invite you to stay, to listen, perhaps even to subscribe, so that more nights like this may unfold. Now, let us begin. Imagine the solar system 4.5 billion years ago. Dust gathers in a great spinning. Cloud, a nebula lit faintly by the newborn sun. Particles collide, stick, and grow, as if grains of memory are weaving themselves into worlds. In this slow, quiet chaos, one planet takes shape in the narrow zone where water may remain liquid. We call it Earth. But what if, in the same swirling symmetry, another began to form? An echo, a twin, a second Earth balanced on the other side. Of the same star, science names such worlds co-orbitals, or Trojan planets. They occupy positions in an orbit where gravity and momentum strike a delicate balance, points known as Lagrange points. In theory, a planet as large as ours could share our orbit, circling forever just ahead or behind, hidden in the blind spots of our sun. Earth might not be alone, though our skies appear to say otherwise. The mind lingers on this. Two planets circling side by side, not in collision, but in harmony. Would they mirror each other's geology? Would volcanoes bloom in tandem, or would mountains rise differently, sculpted by chance and storm? In one world, the crust may fracture early, birthing oceans. In the other, continents might remain locked and silent for millions of years longer. Picture two spheres of blue and green drifting in the same golden light, like two eyes opening together. Oceans shimmer, winds move, rivers carve valleys into stone, and perhaps on both life begins, tiny, delicate, hidden in pools and shallow seas. The silence breaks, not with sound, but with cells dividing, multiplying, reaching. If life emerges on two worlds at once, does it grow alike? Does evolution favor similar paths? Fins and wings, leaves and spines? Or does the smallest accident send each into unfamiliar forests? One world might grow towering ferns, another red moss under endless rain. One might birth reptiles, another creatures of feather before any wing is thought of here. And if both birth civilizations, how would time divide them? Would they rise together like two voices in chorus, or would one linger in the dark while the other strides forward first? What if the twin grows intelligent long before us, gazing into the sky, wondering if it is alone, never suspecting that another Earth waits just a few million kilometers away? In the stillness of the present night, we look up at stars and think, ourselves solitary. But what if silence is only an illusion? What if another Earth drifts unseen, forever hidden behind the sun's glare? Could we ever know? Could we ever meet? Gravity would whisper first. Tiny tugs on Earth's orbit, subtle, shifts in the pull of tides, anomalies in the motions of asteroids, these would hint at an unseen companion. Astronomers today watch for such patterns, measuring with exquisite precision, yet no twin has revealed itself. Still, the question persists, because the mathematics does not forbid it. The silence does not forbid it. Imagine the ancients lying beneath night skies, speaking stories into firelight. Did they sense the possibility of another realm? A parallel ground, invisible yet close? Myths often tell of mirrored worlds, lands that echo ours but cannot be reached. Were these dreams only imagination, or memory of something our species once brushed against, a story of two Earths long collapsed into one? The thought lingers. What if Earth's twin never vanished? What if it is there now, hidden perfectly, opposite the sun, always unseen, moving with us in endless synchrony? Each dawn and dusk we turn our backs to it, blind to its face while it turns away from ours. Two planets sharing one path, each invisible to the other, bound forever by gravity and silence. Perhaps life flourishes there. Perhaps oceans teem with creatures we will never know. Perhaps forests rise in colors we cannot imagine. Or perhaps it is barren, a stone world scorched by ancient storms, carrying only the ghost of possibility. The truth is veiled, and the veil is thick. Tonight we lean into that veil, not to pierce it, but to rest near it. What if Earth had a twin? What if the universe in its quiet generosity offered us not one home, but two? The question hovers like a low star, neither answered nor denied. So let the thought linger with you, as softly as a breeze across water. Let the possibility of another Earth drift beside you, like a silent companion. Perhaps, somewhere beyond, sight, another dawn rises, another ocean stirs, another sky glows with the same golden light. The mind returns to the beginning, to the cradle of two worlds. The solar system itself is a kind of nursery, a place where chance and physics weave, together to shape destinies of stone. Dust becomes pebbles, pebbles become boulders, boulders merge into worlds. Collisions are frequent, violent, yet from them comes form, shape, orbit, balance. If one planet can emerge from this gathering, why not two? It is not impossible, only improbable. Simulations suggest that co-orbital planets, though rare, can exist for long stretches of cosmic time, locked in stable gravitational configurations. If the mathematics allows it, does the cosmos ever try? Imagine two seeds sprouting in the same garden bed. The sun's warmth falls evenly across them. The soil is shared, the conditions nearly equal, but no two seeds grow in precisely the same way. One bends toward the light differently, one roots deeper, one blooms earlier. Could Earth and its twin be like that? Siblings under the same star, born equal yet destined to diverge? Picture them circling together, two blue marbles. Seen from a distance, their orbits trace parallel lines around the sun, as if drawn by an invisible compass. To an observer far away, they might look like twin reflections in a mirror. But up close, differences would appear. One planet might tilt slightly more, spinning with seasons harsher or gentler. Another might carry more iron in its core, shaping its magnetic shield. Small details compound, until worlds that begin as siblings drift into strangers. The thought is grounding. Planetary science shows how fragile equilibrium is. Venus and Earth began almost alike, yet one became a hell of carbon dioxide and acid, clouds, while the other grew rivers and forests. Mars, too, once held lakes, now lost to the thinness of atmosphere. If Earth itself can so easily diverge from its neighbors, how might a twin planet, so close yet separate, carve its own fate? What if the twin chose another path? What if, instead of oceans, it locked itself in ice, a shining sphere of white beneath a dimmer sky? Or what if it drowned in endless waters, no land at all, a pure ocean planet, waves without shore? Would such a world nurture life? Would it remain forever silent, or might strange creatures rise from its depths, singing in frequencies we could never hear? The invitation to imagine lingers. two skies, two dawns, two patterns of cloud and storm. Perhaps in one, lightning is constant, splitting the atmosphere with furious energy, feeding early chemistry with fire. Perhaps in the other, calmness reigns, a gentler climate, slower tides, less drama. Which, then, would better cradle life? Science whispers again. Small shifts matter. The slightest change in distance from the sun, in tilt of axis, in thickness, of atmosphere, can transform possibility into impossibility. A twin Earth might look so familiar at a glance, yet be utterly alien to the touch. And still, the symmetry is irresistible. Two planets circling one star, like dancers, moving in silence, unaware of each other's hidden rhythms. Earth carries its own memory, its geology marked by tectonic drift, its oceans alive with ancient fossils, its air flavored with the breath of trees. Would the twin hold the same record? Would it, too, layer stone upon stone, forming strata of forgotten eras? Would it have its own version of a Cambrian explosion when life leapt suddenly into complexity? Perhaps, or perhaps not. That is the wonder of twins. They may begin alike, yet their destinies diverge. Identical at first glance, but not in the deep unfolding of time. And if one grows life, while the other does not, what then? Does the living planet gaze unknowingly across emptiness, its twin a silent companion, a lifeless shadow? Does the barren one envy, or does envy belong only to us? The cradle of two worlds is not only scientific, it is poetic. It invites reflection on balance, on beginnings, on the fragility of chance. Earth feels solitary, but what if it is not? What if, somewhere in the invisible half of the sky, a sibling moves with us, unseen but present, a reminder that solitude may only be an illusion? Breathe in that thought. Breathe out the silence it carries. The cradle of two worlds rocks gently in the dark, holding questions without answers. Perhaps we are not singular. Perhaps we are accompanied forever. Beyond the cradle, the vision drifts further back, into the swirling nebula from which the planets are born. A cloud of dust and gas, vast and silent, spins slowly under the weight of gravity. This is the womb of the solar system, a place where fragments gather and collapse, where chance and inevitability meet. It is said that in these ancient nurseries, every speck of matter carries possibility. A single grain of dust can one day become part of a mountain, a riverbed, or a living cell. The nebula does not choose, it only offers. Within its embrace, the sun ignites, and around it, rings of dust flatten into a disk. The planets are sown, here, one by one. And in this vision, there are two seeds where we expect one, two embryos of worlds forming close together, like echoes. One will become Earth, the other, its twin, its shadow, its mirror. The nebula does not reveal why. It simply allows the symmetry to unfold, a quiet doubling of destiny. The science lingers behind the image. Observations of other stars show disks with gaps and rings, evidence of planets forming in multiples. Some systems contain 2 or 3 worlds of similar size, orbiting in resonant harmony. Our solar system is no different in principle. It holds giants like Jupiter and Saturn, siblings born of the same cloud. If multiple large planets can emerge, why not 2 of Earth's size, bound to the same path? The image sharpens. A pair of spheres, pale and molten, glowing with the heat of their birth. The twin planets spin side by side, their surfaces oceans, of magma, skies thick with steam and carbon dioxide. The nebula is still around them, whispering, veiling, carrying dust like drifting snow. Each turn of their orbit cools them a little more. Each moment brings them closer to stillness, to crust, to oceans, to possibility. What if both worlds cool at once? What if the rains fall in tandem, filling twin basins, feeding twin oceans? Two blue planets appear in the same system, each with its own horizon, each with its own silence. Could there be two beginnings of life, side by side, like two verses of the same poem whispered by the cosmos? Or perhaps they cool differently. Perhaps one loses its atmosphere early, stripped by the newborn sun's flares, left barren and scorched. Perhaps the other, by chance, holds its air and its seas. Life then belongs only to one, while the other remains forever a ghost, a planet-shaped silence circling the same star. The imagination drifts further. What if the nebula itself remembers? If every cloud of dust carries a pattern, a memory of worlds that came before, could it be repeating an old design? Perhaps the twin Earth is not an accident at all, but a rhythm the cosmos has tried many times, scattering echoes of Earth across the galaxy. There is something poetic in the idea. Not just one world, but a family of twins, scattered like seeds, in a vast field of stars. Each born in silence, each carrying oceans and skies, each perhaps waiting for eyes to look up and wonder. The human heart responds to the symmetry. We see pairs everywhere, in the eyes of another, in the wings of a bird, in the balance of left and right. We dream of doubles, of mirrors, of reflections. A twin planet is not only a scientific speculation, it is also a deep metaphor. What does it mean to have a reflection in space, a double that may share our history or rewrite it entirely? The nebula whispers again. Chance is fragile. Time is vast. Silence is patient. The twin may be there, or it may not. The echo may exist, or it may only exist in our minds. Yet the question is enough. The wondering is enough. So let the listener close their eyes and drift into the image. A vast cloud of dust, the sun young and bright, two planets forming together in the same golden light. One we know, the other, perhaps, still hidden, still waiting, still circling in silence. What if Earth had a twin? What if the nebula itself imagined more than one? The journey drifts now into balance, into the fragile mechanics that let two worlds share a single star. Gravity is the sculptor here, the invisible hand that guides motion. Every planet, every moon, every stone of the solar system obeys its pull, each in delicate orbit. To imagine a twin Earth is to imagine a balance so fine that it lasts for billions of years. Astronomy gives names to these balances. There are points in space, Lagrange points, where the gravitational forces of a star and a planet align with orbital momentum. They are quiet harbors, places where objects can linger with little disturbance. Some of these points lie ahead or behind Earth in its orbit. There, in theory, a planet as large as Earth could dwell, circling in step, hidden always in the sun's glare. Picture it. Earth follows its path around the sun, steady and familiar. 60 degrees ahead, unseen in the daylight, another Earth follows the same track, like a shadow dancer. They never meet, never collide, yet they are bound in an eternal pursuit, each one hidden from the other by the very star that gives them life. The balance is precarious. Any great disturbance, a wandering asteroid, a shift in the tug of Jupiter, could scatter the harmony. And yet, some balances last. Jupiter itself shelters swarms of Trojan asteroids at its Lagrange points, companions, that have followed it for billions of years. If stones can persist, why not a world? Imagine the tides under such a sky. If Earth and its twin both pull on the oceans, would the waves grow restless, surging with dual rhythms? Or would the balance smooth them, a gentler tide than the one? We know. Water is sensitive, answering even the slightest tug. Entire coastlines might reshape themselves under the influence of another planet's gravity. And what of the skies? Would the twin be visible sometimes, rising faintly like a second moon? Or would it remain forever hidden, concealed in the sun's blaze, a secret only mathematics could reveal? Perhaps it is there now, always just beyond reach, circling with us, its presence betrayed only by the smallest irregularities in Earth's path. Science has searched for such irregularities. Telescopes measure our orbit with exquisite precision. Satellites track gravitational perturbations. No twin has been found. Yet absence of evidence is not certainty. The solar system is vast, and even here surprises remain. But the question is not only about physics, it is about reflection. What would it mean for Earth to share its orbit? Would we still feel unique, or would we recognize ourselves as part of a pair? To imagine a twin planet is to ask whether solitude is real, or whether companionship is woven into the fabric of existence itself. Balance is more than orbit. It is also philosophical. A twin Earth suggests symmetry, a doubling of possibility. Two worlds side by side remind us that chance can repeat, that creation is not always singular. What if every planet carries the potential for a twin? What if mirrors are hidden in the architecture of the cosmos, repeating forms we have not yet discovered? Breathe with this image. Earth in its path, the sun at the center, and beside it, unseen but present, a companion world. Two dancers in perfect step, never meeting, never colliding, but always bound in the same rhythm. Gravity holds them, silence separates them, possibility connects them. And so the thought lingers. What if balance is not a rarity but a hidden rule? What if companionship is the natural state of worlds, and solitude only the illusion of perspective? Listener is invited to imagine standing on a quiet shore, the tide washing gently at their feet. Overhead, the familiar sun warms the sky, and somewhere beyond that brilliance, unseen yet circling with us, another shore might lie, another tide, rolling, another being standing in reflection. Two worlds, one balance, one sun. The vision softens now into water. Imagine a second blue marble, turning slowly in the same sunlight, its oceans shimmering like polished glass. From afar, it looks so familiar. White clouds drifting across vast seas, continents resting in quiet, shapes. Yet up close it would not be the same. No two oceans carve their shorelines in precisely the same way. No two skies paint the same pattern of storm and calm. Science tells us that liquid water is the rarest treasure in the cosmos, requiring a balance of temperature, pressure, and atmosphere so delicate it might not last forever, even here. Earth holds it still, though with fragility. Glaciers retreat, seas rise, climates shift. But what if a twin planet shares this fortune? What if two oceans shimmer in tandem, twin mirrors reflecting the same starlight? Close your eyes and picture it. The sun rising across our horizon, and rising too across another. On both worlds, the water glows gold at the edge, then deepens to blue, then darkens into night. Beneath the waves, life stirs, or maybe it waits. Tiny organisms drift, multiplying in silence. Perhaps on Earth they become plankton, corals, fish. On the twin, perhaps something stranger grows, transparent or luminous, thriving in forms we cannot yet imagine. The invitation is gentle, to wonder whether the sea, given the chance twice, would write the same story twice. Does chemistry insist on familiar forms? Cells with membranes, DNA with spirals, fins and wings, forests and lungs? Or does the ocean dream differently each time, inventing creatures unlike any the Earth has seen? A grounding thought. The Silurian. Seas of Earth, 400 million years ago, were filled with strange forms, trilobites and armored fish, corals rising like towers. Evolution then looked alien compared to now, yet it was still Earth. Imagine a twin planet unfolding its own Silurian, its own Devonian, its own quiet experiments in shape. And if there is land, continents will shift as they do here, sliding on, plates of stone, colliding to raise mountains, drifting to tear open seas. Geography writes destiny. On Earth, Africa and Eurasia, the Americas, Antarctica, each shapes climate, wind, migration. On a twin Earth, continents might be arranged, in patterns unrecognizable, a single vast landmass perhaps with oceans on every side, or a chain of islands spanning an endless sea like beads scattered across blue silk. Stand, if only in imagination, on the shore of that ocean. The waves move slowly. The horizon is endless. The air tastes of salt, though it is not our salt. Above, the sky is lit by the same sun, but the clouds are unfamiliar, drifting in patterns we do not name. The water carries whispers, as if holding memory. Do you hear it? What if every drop remembers? What if oceans themselves are libraries, recording the rhythms of their tides, the weight of their moons, the storms that cross them? If so, the twins' oceans would hold their own memory, different but parallel, an echo we cannot reach. In our own oceans, life began. In the twins, perhaps it also begins. Or perhaps the oceans remain silent, their chemistry never quite catching the spark. One world filled with coral reefs and schools of fish, the other a pure, unbroken mirror, lifeless yet beautiful. Which is more haunting, the silence of water or its song? The presence of a second ocean world invites reflection on possibility itself. If the universe creates more than one, does it mean oceans are common? Does it mean life itself is not fragile, but abundant, flowing like water wherever the conditions allow? Or does it mean something else, that the cosmos repeats its patterns like verses of a song, not because it must, but because it can? The listener may let the thought drift like a tide, two blue marbles turning in light, two oceans shimmering, each horizon mirroring the other. To imagine them is to feel less alone, to sense a companionship hidden in silence. And so the question lingers. What if another world carries seas like ours? What if somewhere, unseen but near, another tide rises with this one? Another wave breaks. On another shore? Would we feel the pull of its waters, as its oceans feel ours? Or is the silence too deep, the distance too great, the balance too fragile? For now, there is only imagining. A second blue marble turns, its waters glinting in, the same light, its horizon waiting without answer. The vision moves into the quiet of morning. Imagine a twin dawn. On Earth, the horizon glows, colors bleeding slowly from black into violet, then into the soft warmth of gold. The first birds stir, the first shadows stretch across stone and water, and, far away, on a sibling world, the same sun rises, but through different air, across different land. Would that light feel the same? The sun, after all, shines equally on both. Its photons leave in every direction, striking both horizons in silence. Yet atmosphere bends the light uniquely. On Earth, particles scatter blue, giving us skies of familiar depth. On the twin, the air might be thicker or thinner, filled with other gases. Dawn there could glow crimson or green, or remain dim under a heavier haze. The same star, two mornings, two visions of day. The invitation is simple, to imagine waking under that different sky, the coolness of air brushing against skin, or scales, or wings, the sound of wind moving across grass that may not be grass, or trees that may not be trees. Life, if it exists, greets its own day, unaware that elsewhere another morning begins. In parallel, Science reminds us that atmospheres write destiny. The mixture of gases shapes climate, weather, and life itself. Earth's oxygen comes from living organisms, cyanobacteria that long ago filled the sky with breath. A twin planet, if it followed another path, may never develop oxygen. Its mornings could smell of methane, its winds heavy with carbon dioxide, its skies perpetually tinted. To us, it would seem alien. To itself, it would seem normal. Still, the poetry remains. Two worlds illuminated by the same star, the same warmth touching two surfaces, the same silence carried across space. The thought softens perception. Morning. Here feels less solitary if one imagines another morning elsewhere, rising at the same time, unseen but real. And what if the rhythm of days differs? Earth spins once every 24 hours, but the twin might turn slower or faster. On one world, dawn may pass quickly, the sun racing across the sky. On the other, dawn might linger for hours, stretching light gently, as if refusing to end. Which would life prefer, the rapid pace or the slow unfolding? Seasons, too, would differ. Earth tilts, giving us cycles of warmth and cold, of blossoming and fading. The twin's tilt might be sharper, its seasons harsher or absent altogether, if its axis stands straight. In one world, summer rises and falls like breath. In the other, perhaps one hemisphere burns while the other freezes, eternal contrasts never reconciled. Philosophy whispers here, what does it mean for two dawns to exist? Does one diminish the other, or does each make the other more profound? To know that light falls elsewhere on another horizon is to feel both smaller and greater at once. Smaller because we are not unique. Greater because the cosmos is generous enough to hold more than one. Imagine standing at dawn, eyes half closed, listening to the stillness. Imagine, at the same moment, another being stands on another world, under another dawn, breathing its air, watching its light. Neither knows of the other. Both are connected by the same sun. The mind lingers on the symmetry. Day after day the cycle repeats. Sunrise, noon, sunset, night. On Earth and on its twin, time flows in parallel, though with variations like two, melodies played on different instruments, each unique, each familiar, each part of the same music. What if one day those dawns are shared? What if, in some unimaginable future, signals cross the silence and two worlds finally know of each other? The thought does not rush. It drifts quietly, as if waiting. For now, there are only two horizons, two dawns, two beginnings, mirrored across space. So let the listener rest in that image. A sun rising twice, light touching two worlds at once, both carried by the same orbit, both unfolding their days in silence. Two mornings forever apart, forever connected. The journey drifts into the mystery of life itself, into the possibility of a mirror of life. Imagine two planets circling the same star, both carrying oceans, both carrying winds, both washed by the same light. If conditions allow, then perhaps chemistry stirs in both, quietly, delicately, invisibly at first. On Earth, the story is hidden deep in time. The earliest traces of life are not bones or leaves, but chemical imprints in stone, patterns of carbon isotopes, tiny fossils of microbes, more than 3 billion years old. Life begins in water, in shallow seas, in hydrothermal vents glowing faintly on the ocean floor. Simple cells divide, gather energy, and change their world without ever knowing. What if this happens twice? What if, on a twin planet, chemistry also leans toward complexity? Water also gives shelter, energy also flows, and cells begin to multiply. Would the same forms appear, the same spirals of DNA? the same double helix winding life into structure? Or might life choose another architecture altogether? Proteins shaped differently, genetic codes we would not recognize. Science offers grounding. The laws of chemistry are universal, and patterns repeat. Carbon bonds in familiar ways, water dissolves and carries, sunlight fuels reactions. Perhaps life everywhere must follow certain paths, yet chance shapes the details. A mutation here, an environment there, and the future diverges. On one world, leaves evolve. On another, perhaps crystal-like forms absorb energy instead, or creatures grow with copper-based blood, gleaming green beneath their skin. The imagination is invited to wander into these possibilities. Two worlds, both alive, but each filled with different forests, different seas, different creatures. Perhaps they are similar enough to be familiar, yet strange enough to remind us they are not the same. Or perhaps the divergence is deeper. What if life never takes root on one? What if one ocean remains empty, its chemistry incomplete, while the other bursts with evolution? Then Earth's twin becomes not a mirror, but a contrast, a silent companion, barren, while Earth grows trees, insects, mammals, people. Which is lonelier, to live beside a lifeless twin, or to know that life thrives elsewhere but cannot be reached? Philosophy enters with its own quiet step. Is uniqueness a burden or a gift? If life exists only on Earth, then our solitude makes us precious beyond measure. If life exists also on a twin, then we are not singular, but part of a greater chorus. Both possibilities are profound. Both invite humility. Close your eyes and picture a forest. Hear the rustle of leaves, the call of unseen birds. Now imagine another forest, on another world, leaves of unfamiliar shape, the calls of unfamiliar creatures, two forests, two symphonies, both carried by the same light of the sun. Or picture the sea at dusk. On Earth, waves roll against familiar shores. On the twin, perhaps the sea glows with bioluminescence, entire coastlines shimmering in gentle light, creatures rising from depths to sing in tones we cannot hear. Two oceans, two expressions of life, each unknowable to the other. What if life on the twin evolves intelligence long before us? What if, while Earth is still covered in forests of ferns, another Earth already carries beings who look to the stars, wondering if they are alone? They may have searched and, like us, found only silence. Perhaps they still search, even now. The silence between worlds is not proof of absence. It is only distance, only the limitation of our vision. To imagine a mirror of life is not to claim certainty, but to open a door in the mind, to allow the possibility that we are not the first, not the only, not alone. So the thought lingers. What if Earth had a twin, and on it life also blossoms? Two worlds, two gardens, two voices in the same cosmic silence. Would they ever find each other? Would they recognize themselves in the other's eyes? Or would they remain forever unknowing, each carrying the same question across time? Time becomes the question now, the gentle unfolding of ages, the divergence that begins almost invisible but grows vast across billions of years. Earth and its twin, born alike, may start in near symmetry. Both hold oceans, both breathe air, both turn under the same sun. But time is not patient in the same way on every world. Small differences compound, like ripples spreading on water. Earth, continents drift and collide. The planet reshapes itself endlessly, Pangaea forming, breaking apart, leaving fossils of its union written in stone. Volcanoes erupt, skies fill with ash, climates shift, ice ages advance and retreat. In every upheaval, life adapts, reshaping itself to endure. The twin, meanwhile, may follow another rhythm. Perhaps its plates move slower, its mountains rise. Lower, its seas remain stable for longer spans. Or perhaps its cycles are harsher, continents shattering more often, seas evaporating and returning, climates swinging between extremes. What if one world is gentler, the other more violent? Would life thrive faster in calm stability or in the crucible of constant upheaval? On Earth, extinction and survival walk hand in hand. Disasters erase, but they also create room for new life to flourish. A twin with fewer catastrophes might evolve more slowly, its biosphere tranquil but less diverse. Or perhaps it would never face extinction at all, allowing forms of life to persist far longer than they do here. Imagine creatures resembling Earth's trilobites still roaming on its shores, unchanged for eons. Consider the span of billions of years. On Earth, the difference between a microbe and a mammal is time measured in unimaginable scales. On the twin, a slightly warmer ocean, a slightly different balance of gases, could accelerate or delay the emergence of complexity by hundreds of millions of years. A tiny divergence at the start becomes a gulf at the end. Philosophy rises softly here. Is time itself a mirror or a river that always forks? Two worlds may share a beginning, but no two rivers flow exactly the same. Does the twin story remind us that chance governs all? Our existence here, the shape of our bodies, even our capacity to imagine. The imagination is invited to drift into deep time. Picture Earth in the Archean, nearly 4 billion years. Ago. Skies hazy with methane, seas rich with microbes, continents only beginning to rise. Then imagine the twin at the same moment. Perhaps it too holds seas of greenish water. Perhaps its land is barren still. Perhaps its atmosphere glows red, under a thicker haze. Two planets, two ancient presents, unfolding differently from the same origin. And what of the present moment? Earth carries forests, rivers, cities, languages. What if the twin is still in an earlier chapter, its creatures no more advanced than Earth's fish or amphibians? Or what if it has moved far ahead, its beings already exploring space, while we have only just begun? There is no answer. Time unfolds as it will, but the question lingers. What if one Earth is young, the other old? What if we are not in step with our sibling, but separated by millions of years of difference? Would we ever bridge that gulf? Or would we look across at a mirror that shows not ourselves, but a different age entirely? Breathe with that thought. Two planets, two stories, of time, branching like trees from the same root, reaching toward skies of different colors. The imagination drifts lower now, from skies and oceans into the textures of land. First rivers, first winds, first stones weathered by rain. On Earth, the story is familiar. Water cuts channels into rock, carving valleys, carrying minerals to the sea. Winds gather sand, shaping dunes, shifting deserts, grain by grain. Landscapes emerge slowly, but once they begin, they never cease. On the twin planet, rivers too may rise, but their courses, their forms, their entire character would depend on chance, the tilt of land, the weight of rain, the chemistry of stone. Perhaps they flow wide and slow, endless deltas spreading like fingers into shallow seas. Perhaps they rush narrow and steep, cutting canyons deeper than any here, walls glowing with minerals we have never seen. Would their waters sound the same, whispering against banks of stone? Or would the air itself make their voices different? Science grounds the wondering. Rivers and winds are universal forces, born from gravity and energy. Wherever there is an atmosphere, wind must move. Wherever there is rain, rivers must form. They are not uniquely ours, but cosmic inevitabilities. The details, however, belong only to each world. Picture the winds of the twin. If its air is thicker, storms might rage longer, spiraling endlessly, shaping landscapes with ferocity. If thinner, breezes might be weak, dust gathering in stillness, erosion unfolding over ages with almost imperceptible patience. Imagine dunes stretching not for miles but for continents, waves of stone frozen in place, sculpted not by oceans but by air. Forests grow where rivers run. Life gathers in valleys where water feeds the soil. On Earth, civilizations rose beside. The Nile, the Tigris, the Indus. Would the twin also cradle life in its valleys? Would intelligence first gather at rivers, as if water itself invites thought? Or what if its rivers run beneath the surface, hidden in caverns, carving labyrinths unseen? Life might grow in darkness, blind creatures adapting to subterranean flows, their world shaped not by sunlight but by the echo of underground streams. A twin Earth may not be a mirror at all, but a shadow, its life dwelling in places we would not expect. Philosophy enters softly. Rivers are time made visible. They do not move water only, but memory. Every drop carries the weight of rain, the shape of mountains, the story of erosion. On a twin world, the rivers would carry their own memory, writing another history across stone. What would their stories say? Imagine standing by a riverbank there, watching water flow under alien skies. The stones beneath your feet are unfamiliar, smooth yet not of this earth. The breeze carries a scent of minerals unknown. And yet the sound of water is comfortingly the same, timeless, endless, a voice that bridges worlds. What if every river, everywhere, speaks the same language? What if winds carry whispers that resonate across planets? Would Earth's twin be less alien if its rivers sang like ours, if its winds moved with the same patient rhythm? The listener is invited to rest in this thought. Landscapes repeat, yet never identically. Two planets, two sets of rivers and winds, each shaping stone, each writing memory into land, each flowing endlessly, each erasing and creating in turn. Perhaps, if Earth had a twin, its valleys now are green with growth, its deserts golden with shifting sands. Or perhaps they are silent, dry, waiting. Rivers may run there still, or they may have long ago vanished, leaving only scars in stone. The thought lingers quietly like the sound of water at night. Rivers here, rivers there. Winds here, winds there. Two worlds, sculpted by the same forces yet carrying different faces, different memories. The journey slows now, and we linger in the shared silence of two worlds. Silence is not empty. It holds weight, depth, and presence. On Earth, silence is found in the deep ocean, in caves where sound does not carry, in the deserts where wind rests. On its twin, silence too must exist, shaped differently by alien air, by alien stone. Imagine the quiet of another planet at night. No cities, no engines, no voices. Only the sound of wind moving through alien valleys, only the murmur of distant waves breaking on a foreign shore. To ears accustomed to Earth, it might feel both familiar and strange. Silence punctuated by sounds we cannot name, tones outside our hearing. Yet silence itself is universal. It is the pause between every sound, the space that makes rhythm possible. Science reminds us, even in silence, there is vibration. Molecules move, atoms collide, background hum fills space. Absolute quiet does not exist, not on Earth, not on any world. But perception turns the faintest murmur into stillness. If one stands alone on a shore, whether here or there, the world feels quiet, even as the universe continues its ceaseless motion. The silence of a twin world would hold its own texture. A thicker atmosphere might soften every sound, as if wrapped in velvet. A thinner air might make silence sharper, every footstep echoing farther. Silence would belong to the environment itself, shaped by physics as much as by perception. And in that silence, what lingers? On Earth, silence holds memory. The ruins of old civilizations, the echo of forests long cut down, the empty beds of rivers. Silence is never blank. It is always layered. On the Twin, silence too would carry memory, but of a different history. Perhaps of forests that never were, or of oceans that have already dried. Perhaps of life that rose and fell long before ours, leaving only dust and fossils under alien skies. Philosophy whispers here. Does silence separate, or does it connect? If two worlds share silence, do they share something deeper than sound? Silence may be the true universal language, stretching between stars, between planets, between beings that never meet. Close your eyes and imagine standing still, on Earth or on its twin, under a vast sky. Feel the air around you, hear the subtle rhythms, the pulse of your breath, the faint hum of insects or waves. Now imagine the same stillness on another planet. No breath familiar, no insects familiar, perhaps no life at all. Yet silence itself feels the same, carrying weight, carrying presence, carrying possibility. What if both worlds keep their silences as offerings, each one waiting for another to listen? What if the quiet we feel here is echoed across space? A mirror of absence that is also fullness? Shared silence does not answer. It invites. It invites reflection, imagination, humility. Two planets, each turning, each holding quiet places, mountains untouched, oceans deep, deserts vast. Each silence unique, yet both rooted in the same truth. That stillness is the ground from which all sound, all life, all thought emerges. Perhaps the greatest connection between Earth and its twin is not sound, not sight, but silence. The silence of valleys before the first river, the silence of skies before the first wing, the silence of stone before the first footstep. The listener is invited to rest within that silence now, to breathe slowly, to let thought soften, to feel how silence links one world to another, unseen but present. Two planets. Two silences. One rhythm, infinite in its stillness. The path turns now toward shadow, the idea of a planet that hides always beyond our sight. Astronomers sometimes speak of the counter-Earth, a speculative twin forever concealed on the far side of the sun. If such a world exists, it would share our orbit exactly, always opposite us, forever out of view. We circle together, never overtaking, never meeting, each hidden by the brilliance of the same star. The imagination lingers on this symmetry. Earth rises into dawn, its twin falls into dusk. Our midday is its midnight. Our summer is its winter. Every moment here is inverted there, as if the cosmos has placed a mirror across the sun's face. Two Earths circling in perfect opposition, never seen by each other, but always present. Science offers grounding. Orbital mechanics allow such a possibility in theory, though stability over billions of years is unlikely. Gravitational nudges from Jupiter, Venus, and other planets would eventually betray the twin, drawing it from hiding. And yet the idea persists, not only in speculation, but in myth. Ancient philosophers imagined a hidden Earth on the other side of the sun, a realm of balance, a place unseen but paired with our own. What would it mean if such a shadow planet were real? Would it be a true twin, carrying oceans, forests, civilizations? Or would it be barren, a dry husk circling in silence? The question invites wonder more than certainty. Picture it now. The sun above, dazzling, impenetrable. Beyond it, unseen, another horizon rises, another ocean stirs, another silence deepens. If one could lift above the plane of the solar system, the dance would be visible. Two planets chasing each other in perfect step, always apart, always together. From Earth, however, the sun blinds us, veiling the companion. The twin is hidden not by distance, but by light itself. What if we have always shared this orbit, never knowing? What if, every time we gaze into the sun, we face not emptiness, but the mirror of our own world, just beyond the blaze? The invitation is gentle. Imagine a night when the twin becomes visible, perhaps through instruments finer than we yet possess, perhaps through a chance alignment of gravity and light. The discovery would not be loud, it would be silent, like the lifting of a veil. A planet revealed where we thought there was none. Another Earth, long hidden, quietly circling with us all along. And if such a planet carries life, what then? Would its beings also gaze upward, blinded by their own sun, wondering if they are alone? Would they too imagine a counterworld, hidden from view, carrying its own oceans, its own forests, its own questions? Two civilizations dreaming of each other, divided only by the brilliance of their star. Philosophy rests here like a shadow. Sometimes what we cannot see shapes us as much as what we can. The hidden, the veiled, the silent companion, these remind us that absence is never empty, only unseen. So let the listener rest with this image. Earth turning in its path, the sun blazing, and beyond that blaze, always opposite, always concealed, a possible twin, perhaps alive, perhaps barren, perhaps only imagined. But the idea itself is enough, a shadow that follows us through the cosmos, a reminder that mystery remains even in the orbit we think we know. Two worlds, one light, forever hidden, forever paired. The thought drifts now into whispers of gravity. If a twin Earth moves unseen, how would we know? Not by sight alone, but by the subtle tug it leaves upon the world we stand on. Gravity speaks in silence, in patterns and anomalies, in motions too precise to be random. Astronomers have long traced such whispers. They measure the orbits of planets, the wobble of stars, the shifts of moons. Neptune itself was discovered, not by sight, but by mathematics. A hidden mass tugging Uranus slightly off course. A world unseen, revealed by gravity's quiet insistence. Could the same be true of a twin Earth? Its presence betrayed not by light, but by pull? Imagine the tides first. On Earth, the oceans respond to the moon, swelling and falling twice each day, but tides are also touched by the sun, and even by the distant gas giants. If another Earth moved with us, its gravity too would touch our seas. Waves might rise higher in certain places, coastlines subtly reshaped. To stand on a shore would be to feel not only our moon's rhythm, but the rhythm of another unseen planet, its pull woven into the pulse of the sea. Perhaps we already feel it without knowing, as if our oceans carry a secret we have never learned to read. The whispers would reach further still. Satellites trace Earth's path with exquisite accuracy, mapping every curve of its orbit. If another Earth circled with us, even hidden behind the sun, over millions of years its pull would shift our trajectory ever so slightly. The planets of the solar system are like dancers. If one moves differently, all the others adjust. A twin's presence would ripple outward, a subtle change in the cosmic choreography. And yet no such disturbance has been found. The calculations are clean, the orbits precise. If a twin exists, it must be faint in its influence, perfectly balanced, or hidden in ways we have not yet imagined. Still, the possibility lingers. Gravity is not only science, but metaphor. It binds, it attracts, it shapes. Every being feels. It, every stone, every drop of water. It connects without sound or sight. If two Earths move together, gravity is the silent thread tying them. invisible yet unbreakable. Philosophy pauses here. What else in life moves unseen, shaping us without? Our awareness? Memory, perhaps. Longing, perhaps. The forces that guide choices and paths are not so different from gravity, felt but unseen, constant but mysterious. Close your eyes and picture it. The Earth moving in its orbit, oceans breathing with tides, the moon rising, and beneath it all, an unseen rhythm. Another planet, another Earth, pulling softly across the void. You cannot see it, but perhaps you can feel it, in the quiet surge of waves, in the slow drift of clouds, in the balance of the year itself. What if gravity is the true language between worlds? What if, before sight, before sound, planets speak to each other through pull, through weight, through the slow shaping of each other's paths? The listener is invited to breathe with this thought. Unseen forces guide us, just as unseen planets might circle with us. Earth may not be alone in its orbit. It may carry a twin, whispering its presence through tides and trajectories, through silence and gravity. Perhaps one day those whispers will grow into certainty, or perhaps they will remain whispers forever, felt but never proven. Either way, they remind us that even what seems empty is full of hidden threads, pulling quietly, patiently across time. The vision shifts now from modern instruments to ancient eyes, the eyes of those who first looked upward, long before telescopes, long before mathematics. For tens of thousands of years, humans have gazed into the sky, mapping stars, tracing their motions, finding patterns. The heavens became calendars, stories, guides. They carried meaning as much as they carried light. If Earth had a twin, would the ancients have sensed it? They could not see beyond the sun's glare, but perhaps they felt the possibility. Many cultures spoke of hidden realms, mirrored lands, other worlds alongside our own. Sometimes they called them heavens, sometimes underworlds, sometimes reflections beyond the sky. Could these myths be faint echoes of an intuition that we are not solitary, that Earth might have a companion unseen? Consider the Pythagoreans of ancient Greece, who once imagined a counter-Earth, always hidden on the far side of the sun. To them, it was not only science but philosophy, a symbol of balance, of harmony in the cosmos. One Earth could not exist alone, they reasoned. It must be paired, for symmetry is natural. A hidden planet was not only plausible, but necessary. Other traditions, too, held images of doubles. In Mesoamerican myth, the world often appears in layers, each reflecting the other. In Hindu cosmology, countless realms mirror and multiply. In Norse tales, the idea of parallel lands persists, each tied to the others. The thought of more than one world is not modern. It is ancient, woven into imagination. Wherever humans looked to the sky, what if they were right in ways they could not prove? What if the instinct toward symmetry was not only metaphor, but memory? Science offers grounding. No ancient tool could detect another Earth circling with us. Yet the imagination does not always wait for proof. Sometimes the sense of possibility arrives long before the evidence. Perhaps the ancients felt what we still feel, the pull of curiosity, the suspicion that the cosmos is more populated than it appears. Close your eyes and picture a night thousands of years ago. A fire burns. Shadows move across stone walls. Above, the sky is dark and immense, stars scattered like seeds. Someone looks upward and wonders if there is another Earth, unseen but near. They do not name it as we do. They only feel the silence, the mystery, the possibility. That wonder is the same wonder we hold now. What if Earth's twin has always been part of our dreaming? What if stories of hidden realms are not inventions but intuitions, fragments of a truth we have not yet confirmed? The invitation lingers. To imagine the ancients lying in fields, sailing by starlight, carving symbols into stone, all under the same sky we see now. Their questions are our questions. Their silence is our silence. Two earths circling one sun, one seen, one hidden. Both woven into myth, both carried in story, both reminding us that wonder is older than science, older than proof, older even than memory. So let us rest in that thought. The eyes of the ancients, the stories of doubles, the sense that we are not alone. Perhaps they saw only stars, but in their hearts they carried the same question we whisper tonight. What if Earth has a twin? The journey bends now toward stone, the geology of a stranger, the imagined crust of a twin Earth. Every world carries its memory in rock. On Earth, layers of strata tell of oceans risen and vanished, of deserts stretched across continents, of forests buried into coal. Fossils press against stone like whispers of what once lived. Mountains rise, erode, and rise again, writing time. In patient lines, what stories would a twin planet's geology hold? Its crust would cool at a different pace, fracture in different ways. Perhaps its tectonic plates move faster, scattering continents like leaves on water. Perhaps they move slower, a single supercontinent lingering for eons, its center dry and lifeless, its coasts rich with storms. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff there, layers of rock spread out before you like pages of an unfamiliar book, colors not seen on Earth, reds, silvers, perhaps shades tinted by minerals rare here, stretch across the stone. Each band marks a chapter, an age of fire, an age of ocean, an age of silence. You cannot read the language, yet you know it is. A history, a memory written without words. Science grounds the imagining. Elements shape worlds differently. Earth's crust is rich with silicon and oxygen, iron and aluminum, calcium and sodium. But a twin, formed from the same nebula, might hold more magnesium, more sulfur, more carbonates. Entire landscapes could glow differently. Mountains black with volcanic glass, deserts pale with salts, valleys shining with crystals. And if life arose, geology would bear its trace. Stromatolites, layered mounds of microbes, are among Earth's oldest fossils. On a twin Earth, perhaps different organisms would leave different marks. Honeycomb lattices pressed into stone, spirals etched by growth, textures alien yet organic. Philosophy whispers. Stone is time made solid. It remembers what we forget. A twin world's rocks would tell us not only what it is, but what it has endured. Storms, eruptions, impacts, all carved into its crust like scars. Every crack, every mineral, vein, every fold a record of billions of years. Close your eyes. Imagine running your hand along the surface of a boulder there. It is cool, yet strange. The patterns are familiar, but not identical. You know it has felt rain, wind, heat. You sense its silence, its endurance. It has been waiting for ages, untouched, carrying memory without voice. What if the geology of Earth's twin tells a story very different from ours? What if, where Earth holds signs of water, the twin shows endless dryness? What if, where Earth holds scars of asteroids, the twin shows only smooth plains, untouched by violence? Would the contrast teach us more about chance, about fragility, about the paths a planet may take? Perhaps, in the deepest silence, the twin carries fossils of beings that once were. Perhaps its cliffs hold bones unlike any known here, wings wider, shells harder, bodies stranger. Perhaps, like Earth, it has its own record of extinctions, its own lost histories buried in stone. Or perhaps it has no fossils at all. Perhaps its rocks hold only chemistry, not biology. Its story, then, is one of silence, written in minerals, not in lives. The listener is invited to imagine walking a barren plain, stones scattered under a sky that feels both familiar and alien. Each stone is a page, each mountain a library, each silence a memory. Earth remembers in its geology. So too would its twin. Two planets, two stories written in stone, two memories waiting in silence. The path flows now toward water again, oceans beyond our own, the imagined seas of a twin planet. On Earth, the ocean covers more than 2/3 of the surface, holding most of its life, most of its history. Every wave is ancient, every tide a rhythm older than language. If a twin Earth exists, its oceans too would carry such weight, different, yet bound to the same physics of salt, wind, and depth. Imagine first their color. Earth's seas glow blue because water scatters light, because skies above reflect their hue, but chemistry changes everything. If the twin holds dissolved iron, perhaps its oceans shine green or red as rust. If its atmosphere filters light differently, perhaps the water gleams purple at dusk, silver at noon. Same star, same laws, yet entirely different seas. And in those seas, what lives? Earth's first life begins here, single-celled, fragile, multiplying, unseen. Oceans nurture, protect, conceal. Over billions of years they invent coral reefs, whales, kelp forests. On a twin, oceans may have nurtured life too, or they may still hold only chemistry, waiting for the first spark. What if they are younger, quieter still? Or what if they are older, filled with forms long extinct on Earth, creatures that passed beyond survival here but endured there? Science offers grounding. On Earth, plate tectonics recycle the crust. Seafloor spreading creates ridges. Trenches swallow stone back into the mantle. Oceans shape continents, regulate climate, generate storms. On a twin, tectonics may be slower or absent. Its seas may cover everything. An ocean planet with no land at all. Waves would roll endlessly. Storms without shore. Tides circling forever, with no mountains to break them. Life, if it exists, would live only in water, never knowing land. Close your eyes and picture it. A horizon unbroken, water stretching in every direction, clouds massing above. The air tastes of salt, but not Earth's salt. Beneath the waves, creatures glow softly, bioluminescence painting trails of light. To stand there is to feel infinite openness, but also infinite silence. Or imagine the opposite, a twin where oceans dried long ago, leaving salt flats vast as continents. Cracks run through the crust, crystals gleam under harsh sun. The memory of oceans remains in stone, but water is gone. The silence is heavy, absolute. Philosophy whispers, oceans are memory made liquid. They hold fossils, but also stories unrecorded, songs of whales, migrations of fish, whispers of tides. A twin's oceans, whether living or lost, would hold their own memory. What would they say if they could speak across the void? And what if oceans could communicate? Through comets, through meteors, through fragments of ice flung across space. Could drops of water travel from one world to another, seeding chemistry, carrying microbes? If so, then perhaps the two oceans are not separate, but connected, sharing their silence, their beginnings, their possibilities. The listener is invited to imagine standing on a cliff above a sea. Hear the waves, see the light shimmer. Breathe the salt air. Then imagine another cliff, another sea, another horizon under another sky. Perhaps someone stands there too, gazing outward, wondering if they are alone. Two oceans. Two horizons. Two silences moving with the same tides. The thought bends now toward time itself. The question of whether two worlds, born together, might evolve in step. If Earth and its twin both carry oceans, both breathe air, both turn under the same sun, do their histories unfold as echoes or as divergences? On Earth, life begins early, within the first billion years, small and simple. It takes nearly 3 more billion years before complexity blooms in the Cambrian explosion. Eyes, shells, limbs, sudden abundance. Civilizations appear only in the last heartbeat of time, a few thousand years against billions. What if the twin followed the same rhythm? Would its oceans also take eons to awaken? Would its forests rise in the same order? Ferns, conifers, flowering plants? Would intelligence arrive late, after endless patience? Or perhaps its rhythm is different. Perhaps complexity blooms earlier there, life racing ahead while Earth still lingers in simplicity. Perhaps intelligence evolves long before us, civilizations rising and fading, their traces buried in alien stone. Or perhaps the twin is behind us, its oceans still rich with microbes, its land bare of forests. 2 planets, 2 timelines, drifting, apart as time multiplies small differences into vast separations. Science grounds the wondering. Evolution is not a straight path, but a web of chance and constraint. Mass extinctions on Earth, asteroid impacts, volcanic winters, ice ages, reset the clock repeatedly. A twin world without those catastrophes might evolve steadily, life continuing, without interruption. Or one with harsher events might see life extinguished again and again, civilizations never having the chance to rise. Philosophy whispers softly, is time a mirror or a river that always forks? To imagine 2 worlds born together is to ask whether history is repeatable or irreducibly unique. If a twin exists, its story might reveal whether intelligence is inevitable or rare, whether consciousness is a law or an accident. Close your eyes and picture 2 planets turning in silence. On one, forests sway, cities glow faintly in the dark, satellites circle overhead. On the other, perhaps forests are just beginning, or perhaps cities have already risen and fallen into dust. The same sun shines on both, yet time moves differently. What if the twin is far ahead of us? What if its beings already explore the system, while we are still finding our first steps into space? Would they look across the void, toward our Earth, and wonder if life has stirred here yet? Or what if they are behind us, their oceans young, their continents barren? Then we gaze across and see only silence, while they have not yet learned to imagine us. The symmetry holds, but the rhythm differs. 2 worlds, 2 tempos, like 2 instruments playing the same song at different speeds. Both part of the same composition, both bound to the same star, yet forever out of phase. The invitation is gentle. To imagine history not as singular, but as doubled. To wonder if somewhere, unseen, another timeline flows, another story of life unfolds, another version of Earth dreams beneath the same sky. 2 beginnings, 2 tempos, 2 possibilities drifting in parallel, never quite meeting, yet always bound. The thought lingers now on creatures of vast size, the age of dinosaurs, and the question of whether they might thunder twice across the cosmos. On Earth, for more than 160 million years, reptiles ruled the land, filling every niche. Giants with necks stretching like towers, predators with teeth like blades, winged forms casting shadows across prehistoric seas. Their bones remain as memory, fossils pressed into stone, echoes of a vanished era. What if the twin Earth also bore such giants? Evolution, though shaped by chance, often repeats patterns. Wings have evolved more than once. Eyes, too, in separate lineages. Might size itself be a recurring answer, life's way of reaching for dominance under certain skies? On Earth, gravity, atmosphere, and climate allowed dinosaurs to thrive. On the twin, under similar conditions, might parallel forms have risen, creatures massive, powerful, shaping their world with footsteps like earthquakes? Or perhaps the twin's story diverges. Perhaps its environment favored smaller creatures, agility over size, intelligence over strength. Instead of giants, it may have been filled with swarms, multitudes, endless diversity in miniature. Where Earth thundered, the twin might have whispered. Science grounds the vision. Dinosaurs on Earth were not inevitable. They arose after earlier. Extinctions cleared space for them. A twin world without those extinctions might have birthed a different lineage of rulers. Mammal-like reptiles, perhaps, never displaced, thriving into forms we never saw here. Or insect-like beings, scaled to sizes Earth never permitted, shaping ecosystems unlike anything we know. Philosophy enters softly. Is dominance a universal story, or only Earth's story? If every world favors a ruling form, what does that say about the patterns of life? And if not, then Earth's dinosaurs are not only memory, but anomaly, unique to this one planet, never to be repeated. Imagine now two worlds side by side in thought. On one, a sauropod raises its head into the canopy, breathing slowly, vast as a building. On the other, perhaps no such creature exists. Its forests remain unshaken, its skies empty of pterosaurs, its oceans untouched by plesiosaurs. Silence. Instead of thunder, absence instead of scale, or perhaps both worlds carried their giants, but one still does. Imagine a twin Earth where the asteroid never struck, where dinosaurs never vanished. There, continents may still tremble beneath their weight, skies still echo with the wings of reptilian flyers. Intelligence, if it emerged at all, might wear scales instead of skin, language carried not by voices but by hisses or vibrations. Could we even recognize such beings as kin? The listener is invited to linger here, in the deep time of imagination, to hear the sound of rain falling on vast leaves, to feel the tremor of footsteps beneath the ground, to picture forests alive with forms that never knew our world, then to imagine those same forests on a twin planet, alive or absent, echoing or diverging. Two worlds, two possibilities. One filled with thunder, the other with silence. Both carried beneath the same sun. The journey drifts into endings now, the story of extinctions in echo. On Earth, life has not only grown but collapsed, over and over. 5 times in its history, the biosphere has been reshaped by catastrophe. The Ordovician ice, the Devonian, seas suffocating, the Permian firestorms that erased nearly all life, the Triassic upheavals, and, finally, the asteroid that ended the age of dinosaurs. Each extinction left silence in its wake, and each silence opened room for something new. What if a twin Earth endured its own extinctions? Would they mirror ours, arriving in tandem like twin rhythms struck by the same cosmic drum? If an asteroid strikes Earth, might its orbit not also threaten the twin? If a supernova flares nearby, its light touches both worlds equally, radiation spreading in silence. Could two biospheres collapse together, mourning in parallel, separated yet connected, or perhaps the echoes are imperfect? Earth suffers while the twin survives. Imagine one planet plunged into darkness by ash-filled skies, while the other continues under clear light. One world loses its forests, the other thrives. Extinction here becomes divergence there, two stories pulling further apart. Science grounds the vision. Catastrophes are both global and local. Asteroids strike one world, not always another. Volcanoes erupt from within, unique to each crust. Climate shifts differently depending on geography. Even under the same sun, no two planets carry exactly the same fate. The twin may escape what we endure, or fall where we remain untouched. Philosophy whispers, extinction is not only loss, but transformation. If two worlds hold life, then two worlds hold endings too. But endings do not echo perfectly. They bend, they change, they create new beginnings. Perhaps the twin has faced its own cataclysms unknown to us, its own moments when survival balanced on a knife's edge. Close your eyes. Picture Earth in the moment after the asteroid. Forests burning, skies dark for years, oceans cooling. Now imagine the twin. Perhaps it too smolders, its forests reduced to ash. Or perhaps its skies remain clear, its rivers flowing quietly, untouched. Two planets under the same star, one silenced, one alive. And what if life survives there when it fails here? What if, in another extinction yet to come, Earth falters, but the twin endures? Would our story continue in reflection, even if we vanish? Or would the silence here never be mirrored, each world carrying its own fate? The listener is invited to feel the weight of this thought. Extinction is not remote. It is woven into Earth's history and into our future. A twin Earth would share that truth, whether in tandem or apart. Its fossils, like ours, would be filled with absence as much as with presence. Its stones would hold scars of lost worlds or memories of resilience. Two planets. Two rhythms of survival and loss. Two silences that may echo or may diverge forever. The thought lingers now on the chance of asymmetry, that delicate idea that one world may be struck by fate while the other is spared. Earth's history reminds us how fragile life can be. A single asteroid, 65 million years ago, reshaped everything. The great reptiles vanished, mammals rose, and eventually we arrived. But what if Earth had a twin, circling with us, beneath the same sun, and that asteroid missed it? Imagine the divergence. On Earth, fire and darkness fall, forests burn, skies dim, oceans cool, dinosaurs collapse into silence. Yet, on the twin, the light continues. Forests remain, dinosaurs still roam. For millions of years, the two planets drift apart in destiny, one becoming a cradle for human civilization, the other still thunderous with reptilian life. Asymmetry is not only possible, it is inevitable. Chance does not distribute evenly. Volcanoes erupt here, not there. Ice sheets spread across one hemisphere, not the other. A meteor that strikes one planet sails past the other untouched. Two worlds born together soon become strangers, not because of their beginnings, but because of their accidents. Science grounds the vision. Extinction events are not shared equally. Even within Earth, some regions suffer while others survive. After the asteroid, certain forests endured, certain species found refuge, while others perished completely. A twin planet, though close, would carry its own shield of chance. Its survival or collapse would not echo ours exactly. Philosophy enters softly. Is it more haunting to imagine two worlds ending together, or one ending while the other thrives? Which carries the greater weight, shared silence or unequal survival? Close your eyes and picture it. Two planets turn under the same sun. On one, silence falls, an age closes, a future reshapes itself. On the other, life continues as if nothing happened. The same star warms both, yet their stories diverge sharply, never to return to symmetry. What if humans exist here only because dinosaurs vanished, while on the twin they never left? What if intelligence never arises there, not because the world lacks possibility, but because it never endures the accidents that forced new beginnings? Would we then look to our twin and see the path we did not take, the world that stayed with thunder instead of thought, or imagine the reverse? What if Earth's catastrophes erased our path while the twin continued untouched? Would their beings look across space, searching, imagining, never knowing that once, here, another story had begun? Asymmetry shapes not only geology, not only biology, but meaning. Two worlds remind us that chance is sovereign, that history is never inevitable. The listener is invited to breathe with this thought: Earth and its twin, bound by orbit, but never by identical fate. One suffers, the other survives. One silences, the other sings. Two worlds, same sun, different stories. The meditation bends now toward civilization's fork, the question of what happens if intelligence rises on both worlds. On Earth, it emerges, late, almost at the last moment of deep time. For billions of years, life remained simple, quiet, hidden in oceans. Only in the smallest fraction of Earth's story did firelight, language, and cities appear. What if, on a twin Earth, the story unfolds differently? Imagine first the parallel. Two planets, both carrying rivers, forests, fertile soil, both nurturing beings who learn to shape tools, to speak, to dream. Civilizations rise on each, perhaps slowly, perhaps unevenly. Their paths never meet, but they exist together, bound by the same sun. Would they wonder about each other? Would they look up into the same night and sense that they are not alone, or imagine the divergence? On Earth, humanity arrives. On the twin, no intelligence emerges. Life there may remain animal, vast and wild, untamed by thought. Or the opposite. Perhaps the twin birthed intelligence long before us, civilizations ancient when Earth still slept in its forests of ferns. Their history could stretch millions of years, while ours is only thousands. Science offers grounding. The Silurian hypothesis asks whether an industrial civilization might have existed long before us, now erased by time. Fossils are rare, stone forgets, oceans recycle their floors. If Earth itself might bury evidence of its own past, what might a twin planet conceal? Civilization could rise, fall, and vanish, leaving only whispers in geology. Philosophy drifts gently in. What does it mean if two planets think? Does intelligence multiply, or does it divide? Would each world be solitary in its own mind, or would the cosmos itself feel more alive, carrying more than one voice of thought? Close your eyes. Picture a night on Earth thousands of years ago. Fires, burning, stars above. Then imagine a night on the twin. Fires also burning, stars also shining. Both worlds quiet, both civilizations young, both unaware of the other. Two beginnings, parallel, but hidden from one another. Or picture now. Our satellites circle Earth, signals flicker into the dark. On the twin, perhaps their satellites circle too, lights glittering in orbit. Each world sends whispers into space, searching, never realizing that the nearest voice is not light years away, but sharing the same orbit, forever hidden by the sun. What if intelligence rose earlier there? What if they already crossed space, looked back, saw us, and turned away in silence? Or what if they never noticed us, their focus inward, their questions different, and what if it is we who rise first, while the twin remains untouched? What would it mean to know we are the elder sibling, carrying responsibility, carrying awareness, while the other remains quiet, not yet awake? The fork of civilization is not only speculation, it is reflection. It reminds us that intelligence is fragile, rare, uncertain. It is not guaranteed by oceans or forests or time. It is born of chance, of accidents, of patience. A twin Earth may share the possibility, or it may not. The listener is invited to rest with this vision. Two worlds, one filled with cities and voices, the other filled with silence. Or both filled with thought, each gazing upward, each carrying the same question into the night. Two Earths, two forks of intelligence, two destinies, never touching, yet forever bound in orbit. The meditation leans now into absence, the archaeology of what is not there. On Earth, traces of the past lie buried in stone and soil. Ruins, fossils, artifacts, layers of sediment all speak in their own quiet ways. But time erases almost everything. Wood rots, metal corrodes, stone crumbles, oceans recycle their floors. After millions of years, even the grandest cities would fade into silence. What, then, would we see if we walked the surface of a twin Earth? Would its stones hold evidence of civilizations now gone? Strange ruins half buried, patterns etched into cliffs, alignments of monoliths pointing toward forgotten skies? Or would the record be blank, an emptiness so complete it tempts us to wonder if intelligence ever rose there at all? Science grounds the imagining. The Silurian hypothesis reminds us that if an industrial civilization had arisen on Earth millions of years before us, most of its traces would already be erased. Sediments bury, erosion levels, tectonics recycle. Only subtle clues, anomalous isotopes, chemical residues, might remain. A twin Earth, if it once held its own civilization, might look the same. Apparently pristine, but layered with secrets only detectable through careful study. Philosophy asks softly, is absence itself a kind of evidence? To see nothing may not mean nothing was there. Silence can be presence, too, the presence of time, of erasure, of endings beyond memory. A twin planet, barren of visible traces, might still carry the weight of histories unspoken. Imagine walking a wide plain under a quiet sky. Stones scatter across the ground. At first glance they seem natural, shaped by wind and rain. But perhaps their angles are too precise, their alignments too deliberate. Perhaps you stand among ruins so ancient that nature has nearly claimed them entirely. You cannot know for certain, but the suspicion lingers. Or picture oceans covering what was once land. Entire continents drowned, their histories sealed beneath kilometers of water. Earth itself has lost such memories. Doggerland beneath the North Sea, Beringia beneath the Arctic. A twin may have lost far more. Civilizations erased beneath tides we will never see. What if the archaeology of absence is universal? What if every world hides its stories in layers too deep for us to reach? Then the twin Earth becomes a mirror of mystery, showing us how fragile our own traces are, how easily forgotten. The listener is invited to rest with this thought, that silence does not mean emptiness, and absence does not mean void. A twin planet may hold secrets deeper than stone, secrets no eyes will ever read. Perhaps civilizations came and went there long before us, their voices gone, their ruins dust. Or perhaps none ever rose, and the silence itself is the record. 2. Worlds. 2 archaeologies. One written in presence, the other written in absence. Both remind us that memory is fragile and time is endless. The meditation drifts now into stories in the stars, the myths and symbols humanity has carried across millennia. Long before science measured planets, people saw the sky as a canvas of meaning. Constellations became animals, gods, heroes. Planets wandering among them became omens and deities. The heavens were not distant. They were intimate, woven into ritual, into memory, into story. If Earth had a twin, would its presence echo through myth? Even unseen, perhaps its possibility was felt. Many cultures speak of mirrored realms, hidden worlds, parallel lands beyond reach. In Polynesian navigation chants, islands appear both visible and invisible, known yet unseen. In Sumerian tales, heavens are layered, each reflecting the one below. In Mesoamerican stories, worlds repeat in cycles, destroyed and reborn, each resembling the last. Could these be distant whispers of an intuition, that one Earth is never enough, that there must be another? Philosophy enters gently. Perhaps myths are not falsehoods, but ways of holding truths too vast for proof. A twin Earth, forever hidden, may live in our stories even if not in our sight. Science grounds the thought. Today, we know planets circle, distant stars, hundreds of them Earth-like in size, some in habitable zones. Yet long before telescopes, myth-makers imagined them. They spoke of reflections, of other realms, of companions beyond the horizon. Could the idea of another Earth be older than astronomy itself, older even than history? Imagine the night sky as seen by someone thousands of years ago. No pollution, no cities, only stars scattered in uncountable numbers. The Milky Way arches overhead like a river of light. In that vastness, the thought arises naturally. Surely there is more than one world. Surely we are not alone. And what if some myths were memories? What if a twin Earth once crossed closer, visible in ancient skies for a time before drifting again into balance? Its light might have been faint, its presence fleeting, but enough to plant a story in human memory. A story later told as legend, later remembered as dream. The listener is invited to linger here. In the firelight of ancient nights, voices telling tales of other worlds. Perhaps they did not know, but they sensed. Perhaps they did not see, but they dreamed. Two Earths, one visible, one hidden. One written in science, the other written in myth. Both carried in the same stars. The meditation turns inward now, into philosophy of the double, what it means for Earth not to be singular. The idea of a twin planet is more than speculation in astronomy. It is also a mirror for the human mind. We are drawn to pairs, to reflections, to symmetry. Every shadow suggests a source. Every echo suggests another voice. A twin Earth is not only a physical possibility, but a symbol. If Earth has a double, what does that say about us? Do we remain unique, or does our uniqueness dissolve into companionship? Perhaps identity itself changes. A single Earth feels singular, solitary, a lone stage for life. But two Earths suggest that life is not an accident once made, but a pattern capable of repeating. Science provides its grounding. In evolution, convergence shows that different lineages often arrive at similar solutions. Wings in birds and bats, eyes in squids and mammals. Forms repeating, not because of chance alone, but because the universe favors certain paths. If life converges on one planet, perhaps it can converge on two. A twin Earth might not only exist, it might resemble us, more than we expect. Philosophy whispers softly. The double always unsettles. In stories, the twin is both familiar and strange. A reflection can comfort or it can disturb. To know that Earth has a double is to ask whether our own story is unique or only one version among many. Do we find solace in not being alone, or unease in not being singular? Imagine standing before a mirror. Your reflection moves as you move, yet it is not you. It is separate, yet bound. Earth and its twin may be the same. Two worlds alike in orbit, alike in possibility, yet each holding its own fate. Each a reflection, but not an identity. What if the twin is more advanced, its civilizations older, its wisdom greater? Then Earth becomes the younger sibling, the reflection behind. What if the twin is barren, silent, lifeless? Then Earth becomes the elder, carrying the rare gift of life alone. In both cases, meaning changes. Identity shifts. The listener is invited to rest. With this image, Two planets side by side in thought, not touching, not speaking, yet connected in possibility. To imagine Earth with a double is to feel ourselves doubled too, to sense that for every version of reality there may be another, unfolding differently, yet parallel. Perhaps the cosmos repeats itself not because it must, but because it can. Perhaps every world carries the seed of another, an unseen reflection waiting in silence. Perhaps we too are reflections of something larger, lives within lives, mirrors within mirrors. Two Earths, two reflections, one question lingering. What? Does it mean not to be one, but two? The meditation turns toward the sky itself, toward the possibility of two moons, two heavens shaped by doubled light. On Earth, the moon has been our constant companion, guiding tides, marking calendars, inspiring myths. Its face is carved into human memory. But what if Earth had a twin planet, close enough to be seen in the sky? Would it shine beside the moon, a second beacon of night? Imagine standing on a quiet plain at dusk. The moon rises, pale and steady, and beside it, larger still, a glowing sphere of oceans and clouds, another Earth. Its surface would not be visible in detail, only colors shifting, lights reflecting. But its presence would be unmistakable, a constant reminder that we are not alone. Night would never be the same. Science grounds the image. Planets reflecting sunlight appear bright, as Venus does in our sky. A twin Earth near enough could shine brighter still. It would wax and wane. As we do, phases mirroring ours, sometimes a thin crescent, sometimes a full circle of reflected light. The two spheres, moon and twin, would paint the heavens with symmetry. And what of tides? Already, Earth's seas respond to both sun and moon. Add a second Earth, and the balance becomes stranger. Perhaps tides would rise higher, drawn by double pulls. Perhaps coastlines would shift more dramatically, reshaped not by one rhythm, but by two. Fishermen, sailors, civilizations would learn to live by a more complex sea. Philosophy enters softly. How would we see ourselves if every night revealed another world? Would the sense of solitude vanish, replaced by constant companionship? Would myths grow not from absence, but from presence? A twin shining overhead would remind us daily that we are not singular, that another home shares our sun. Close your eyes and picture such a night. Two spheres above, the moon silver, the twin Earth. Blue-white, both rising together, both reflected in oceans below. To walk under such a sky would be to live always with reminder, always with wonder. And what if the twin too had a moon of its own? Then its night sky would carry two companions, just as ours does. Perhaps each world would see not only itself, but the reflection of another reflection. Moons circling, planets glowing, heavens doubled and redoubled. What if ancient humans had looked up and seen such a sight? Would civilizations have developed differently? Myths richer, philosophies deeper, science sooner? Would we have reached across space earlier, knowing that another world waited within sight? The listener is invited to rest with this thought. A sky of two lights, one familiar, one strange. Two orbs rising, two reflections on water, two companions in silence. Two moons, two skies, one wonder shared between them. The meditation leans back to the pull of gravity again, the quiet strength that shapes not only orbits, but tides, rhythms, and the very texture of time. Already, Earth feels the tug of two great bodies, the moon close by, and the sun far greater yet more distant. Between them, our seas rise and fall, waves breathing twice each day, coastlines shifting, estuaries, alive with cycles. But what if there were another? What if Earth's twin also drew on our oceans, its pull adding a second rhythm to the sea? The waters would no longer answer to just two bodies, but three. Tides might surge higher, unpredictable, sometimes canceling, sometimes combining, reshaping shores in ways we cannot yet imagine. Imagine standing on a beach beneath such a system. The tide does not come in evenly. Instead, it rises in layers, waves higher than expected, or lower, or strangely still. Fishermen would learn to read not only the moon, not only the sun, but the hidden pull of a companion planet. The sea would speak in chords instead of single notes. Science grounds the vision. Tidal forces follow distance and mass. A twin Earth, equal in weight, could tug subtly even from millions of kilometers away. Its presence might alter not only tides, but Earth's own rotation. Days could shorten or lengthen, seasons bend, climates shift under the constant exchange of momentum. Gravity, invisible yet absolute, would weave the fates of two worlds together, and on the twin itself, Earth would serve as companion, its pull shaping seas and skies in turn. Each would answer to the other, their oceans whispering across the void, never touching, yet forever entwined. Philosophy moves gently in. Is this not true of all relationships, that unseen forces shape us? The twin planet becomes metaphor as much as physics. We are moved not only by what we see, but by what we feel. Subtle tugs from those around us, from memories, from the unseen companions of thought. Close your eyes and picture two worlds turning, in silence, each pulling the other, each shaping tides and seasons without knowing. The sea at your feet rises because of a moon you see, a sun you feel, and perhaps another Earth you do not see at all. The tide is a dialogue, a conversation of gravity, whispered across space. What if our oceans already carry such hidden music, a rhythm we mistake as their own? What if every wave is shaped not only by what we know, but by what we cannot see? The listener is invited to linger in this thought, that tides are memory, that oceans are conversation, that gravity itself is language. Two Earths might never touch, yet their seas would speak together, forever bound, forever whispering through pull alone. Two tides, two rhythms, one silence connecting them. The meditation flows now into the question of migration, the movement of life itself between two close worlds. If Earth had a twin, circling nearby under the same sun, could life pass between them? Could seas share their chemistry? Could stones carry their seeds? Could one planet whisper its living breath into the other? Science offers a path into this. Imagining. The idea is called panspermia, the possibility that life can travel between worlds on rocks cast into space by impact. When asteroids strike Earth, fragments of crust are flung outward, some leaving the planet entirely. A few pieces of Mars have landed here, carrying minerals and traces of ancient chemistry. If stones can cross such distances, why not between two Earths sharing the same orbit? Imagine an asteroid striking Earth with immense force. Rock shatters. Fragments lift into space carrying microbes hidden deep within. Most perish, but some survive, sheltered in stone against radiation, sleeping across centuries. Eventually, gravity pulls them down. Not back to Earth, but to its twin. They fall through alien skies, warm in re-entry, and land in seas or soil. Perhaps there life takes root, beginning anew. Or imagine the reverse. The twin suffers an impact, and its fragments sail to Earth. What if life here is not entirely ours, but seeded by a sibling world? What if our origins are not singular, but shared, written across two planets instead of one? Philosophy drifts softly into the thought. If life migrates, can we still speak of separate worlds, or are they one? If Earth and its twin exchange living, Seeds, then their histories intertwine, their destinies merge. Each is less solitary, each part of a larger whole. Close your eyes and picture it. A stone, dark and heavy, floating through the void. Inside, microbes sleep, unaware of distance, unaware of time. They do not know whether they belong to one planet or the other. They only endure, waiting for the moment when gravity pulls them. Home, whether home is Earth or a twin Earth across the sun. And what of larger migrations? Not only microbes, but civilizations. If both planets birthed intelligent life, could one cross to the other? The distance is not far in cosmic terms, only millions of kilometers. For beings who master the sky, such a journey is possible. What if one day sails of light or ships of stone drift across space, carrying voices from one Earth to the other, or perhaps it has already happened? Perhaps in some deep time long past, before our own history began, one world reached the other, left, traces, and vanished. The archaeology of absence may be absence only to us. The twins' silence may hide echoes of our own beginnings. The listener is invited to imagine two planets circling together, trading seeds of life. Stones fall, oceans stir. Life spreads across both. Perhaps our DNA carries fragments of another world's story, woven into us, unseen but real. Two planets, one migration, one shared breath of life. The meditation deepens into the seed of panspermia, the possibility that life itself is not confined but shared, scattered like pollen across the gardens of space. On Earth, the first spark of biology is still a mystery. Did it emerge here, in tidal pools or hydrothermal vents? Or was it delivered from beyond, riding in comets, drifting in stardust, waiting only for the right soil to awaken? If Earth has a twin, this question gains another layer. What if life did not begin on one world or the other, but on both at once, seeded together by the same rain of comets, the same fragments of icy stone falling through young skies? Two planets, touched by the same gift, carrying the same potential, unfolding their stories in parallel. Then Earth and its twin are not separate, but kin, siblings not only in orbit, but in blood. Science gives grounding. Microbes can survive in the vacuum of space, shielded by rock. Extremophiles on Earth endure radiation, freezing, and heat that would destroy most forms of life. Meteorites from Mars have reached Earth, proving that worlds exchange material. If stones travel, and if life endures, then the spreading of seeds is not impossible. Close your eyes and picture it. A comet entering the solar system, breaking, apart in the warmth of the sun. Its fragments fall upon Earth and also upon its twin, circling in synchrony. In both, the chemistry of life awakens, the first cells dividing in quiet seas. Two planets, two beginnings, yet born of the same rain. Or imagine another possibility. Perhaps life begins on one world first. The twin receives fragments later, carrying its siblings' microbes across the void. In this case, one is parent, the other child. Earth may have seeded its twin, or the twin may have seeded Earth. Which is elder? Which is younger? Perhaps we cannot know. Philosophy whispers, if life is shared, then identity blurs. Are we Earth's children or the cosmos's? Are we singular or collective? To belong to more than one world is to carry memory beyond a single horizon. Perhaps life itself is not local, but cosmic, unfolding wherever conditions allow, connected across distances, by invisible threads. Imagine now the possibility that we, here, are the descendants of a story larger than Earth alone, that our DNA, our cells, our very breath, carry fragments of another world. Perhaps a twin Earth seeded us. Perhaps we seeded it. Perhaps both are expressions of one deeper origin, scattered across the galaxy like sparks. The listener is invited to linger with this thought. Every breath, every heartbeat may be part of a wider tapestry. Life may not be confined to one planet, but shared among many, passed from stone to stone, ocean to ocean. If Earth has a twin, then we may already be connected, not in theory, but in essence. Two worlds, one seed, one origin carried in silence across the stars. The meditation drifts now into patience, the long waiting of worlds. Time, on a cosmic scale, stretches beyond imagination. Stars burn for billions of years, galaxies drift, planets circle endlessly. Against this vastness, a single civilization, a single species, is but a breath. If Earth has a twin, perhaps its story is not synchronous with ours. Perhaps one waits while the other awakens. Imagine a world alive with oceans, yet untouched by complexity. Microbes float in water, divide, multiply, but never rise beyond simplicity. For billions of years they wait, their chemistry alive, but quiet. Meanwhile, Earth surges forward, plants rising, animals roaming, humans dreaming. One planet sings, the other hums faintly in silence. Or imagine the reverse. The twin awakens first. Its oceans teem with creatures, forests filled with voices, civilizations growing and falling long before Earth learns to write. By the time humans appear here, the twin may already be gone, its civilizations eroded, its voices extinct, its surface bearing only faint traces of what once was. Then Earth is the latecomer, carrying a torch once held by another. Science grounds the wondering. Evolution is not constant. It depends on chance events, mutations, extinctions, climate shifts. A world may take longer to produce complexity, or it may never cross the threshold at all. Some planets may remain microbial forever, their oceans alive but unchanging. Others may leap ahead quickly, intelligence rising earlier than we imagine. Philosophy whispers softly, what is waiting but another form of presence? A silent twin may not be empty. It may simply not yet have spoken. Perhaps every planet carries its own rhythm, some rushing, some delaying, each unfolding in its own time. Close your eyes and picture two planets turning in orbit. One is alive with forests, cities, satellites. The other is quiet, oceans still simple, skies unmarked by flight, yet both share the same sun, the same orbit, the same silence. The difference is only time. What if the twin is not barren, only delayed? What if, millions of years from now, life there will bloom into intelligence, long after humanity has passed? Then the universe becomes a relay, one planet carrying the torch of thought after the other fades. Or imagine the opposite, that the twin thrived billions of years ago, rose into civilization, and fell. Perhaps its ruins now lie beneath forests or oceans, waiting, unnoticed, while Earth takes its turn in awareness. Two worlds, one after the other, like verses of a poem read aloud across epochs. The listener is invited to rest with this vision. Time does not unfold the same everywhere. Patience belongs to the cosmos. If Earth has a twin, it may be waiting still, or it may have already spoken and gone silent again. Either way, the story is larger than one planet. Two worlds, one waiting, one waking, both turning, both enduring, both carried by the same sun. The meditation turns now to technology and reflection, the possibility that two worlds, each intelligent, might glimpse one another through the signals of light. On Earth, we have wrapped our skies in transmissions, radio waves, television broadcasts, pulses from satellites circling in endless orbits. Our planet glows faintly in the radio spectrum, a whispering beacon drifting into space. What if Earth's twin also shines with such signals? Imagine their civilization rising first, filling their skies with messages, waves of information rushing outward in all directions. From Earth, the signals might pass us by, too faint, too distant, or drowned by the sun's interference. We search the stars for patterns, but perhaps the nearest voice is hidden not across light years, but just beyond the sun. Science grounds this vision. Electromagnetic waves move straight, unbending, yet our sun is an obstacle, its glare overpowering. Faint signals. Even if the twin broadcasts with power, their transmissions would blend into solar noise from our perspective. We may already share an orbit with a broadcasting world, yet remain deaf to its voice. Imagine the symmetry. Earth sends signals outward, songs, images, data, unaware that the twin does the same. Two civilizations calling out, both unheard, both hidden by the same star. The silence is not emptiness, but concealment. Philosophy whispers softly. What is communication if it cannot be received? Is a signal still a message if no one hears? A twin planet suggests that solitude may not be real, only apparent, a misunderstanding born of perspective. Perhaps the cosmos is already speaking, but our ears are turned the wrong way. Close your eyes and picture the night sky. Satellites glide overhead, their faint lights tracing lines against darkness. Imagine, at that same moment, satellites circling a twin Earth, unseen, casting their own signals outward. Two skies filled with quiet machinery, two civilizations, marking their presence in orbits of steel and light. Neither knows the other exists, though they share the same sun. What if one day instruments sharpen enough to catch their whisper? What if, hidden in the radio static, we find patterns not from distant stars, but from a nearby world? Would the discovery shock us, or would it feel inevitable, as though we had always known the silence was not real? Or what if they hear us first? Perhaps our earliest broadcasts have already brushed their skies, faint yet detectable. Perhaps they have paused, listening, wondering. Perhaps they choose not to respond. The listener is invited to rest with this thought. Technology is not only invention, but reflection. Every signal we send outward is also a question. Who might be listening? If Earth has a twin, that question is not abstract. It may be as near as the other side of the sun, hidden, patient, waiting. Two civilizations. Two signals. One silence between them, filled with unreceived voices. The meditation lingers now on the silence of contact. If Earth has a twin, why have the two worlds not spoken? Why does no signal bridge the gap, no ship cross the void, no certainty replace the question? Perhaps the silence itself is the answer, a reminder that not all nearness is closeness, not all companionship is communication. Science offers one possibility. The sun itself, blazing between us, drowns every whisper. Radio waves, faint and fragile, vanish in the solar noise. Light reflected from one planet cannot be seen from the other, hidden by the same glare. Two civilizations might broadcast endlessly, yet remain invisible to one another, like voices, shouting across a roaring waterfall. Another possibility: choice. Perhaps the twin has seen us but remained silent, out of caution, or of patience, or of indifference. Perhaps they understand that contact carries weight, that to speak is to change forever the solitude of another. Silence, then, is not absence, but restraint. Philosophy enters softly. Silence is not always emptiness. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is waiting. Sometimes it is simply the acknowledgement that not every question must be answered aloud. A twin Earth may exist, but remain silent, not because it cannot speak, but because it chooses not to. Imagine standing under the night sky, looking upward. You listen for voices, but none come. Across the sun, another being stands, also listening. Both hear only silence. Both feel only solitude. Yet both are present, both are searching, both are connected by the absence itself. Two solitudes forming a hidden dialogue through quiet. What if silence is the first form of communication? What if the very fact that no message arrives is itself the message? That some truths are meant to be held, not shared? Perhaps two civilizations can exist side by side without ever meeting, their parallel lives carried in secrecy, their companionship expressed not in words, but in quiet endurance. Close your eyes and imagine two planets circling together for billions of years. Each holds oceans, forests, or perhaps cities. Each wonders about the other. Each waits, and yet no bridge is ever crossed. They remain unseen, unheard, unknown. Still their orbits bind them. Their silence binds them. Their shared sun binds them. The listener is invited to breathe with this thought, that silence itself is a form of presence, that not every relationship is spoken, that sometimes what matters most is not the words exchanged, but the knowledge that another exists, even unseen. Two earths, no contact, only silence, deep and unbroken, yet full of meaning. The meditation turns now toward responsibility, the ethics of encounter. If Earth had a twin, alive and aware, what obligations would arise between us? To imagine another world so near is not only to wonder what it looks like, but how we would meet it, how we would act if the silence ever broke. Science grounds the thought in precedent. When species meet on Earth, when continents once separated, are joined, consequences are profound. Plants, animals, and microbes cross into new lands, often with imbalance. Histories of contact among human cultures remind us that discovery can bring wonder, but also harm, loss, and collapse. A twin Earth would magnify these questions. Could two civilizations meet without one overwhelming the other? Philosophy whispers softly, to encounter another Earth is to confront ourselves. Would we see them as kin or as strangers? Would we extend, care, or claim? Would curiosity soften into humility or sharpen into desire? Every choice would shape not only the future of two planets, but the meaning of what it is to live under the same star. Imagine a moment of first contact. Not a dramatic scene, but a quiet one. A signal received, faint but patterned, carrying across the silence. In that instant, we would know. Another world is awake. The question is not whether they exist, but how we respond. Do we answer at once, eager, unmeasured? Or do we pause, considering the weight of such an act, or picture the reverse? The twin receives our signals first. They listen, perhaps with instruments more patient than ours. They know of us, but choose restraint. Their silence may be not absence, but wisdom, a recognition that rushing forward might harm more than it heals. The listener is invited to rest with these possibilities, to imagine the ethical dimension of companionship, the delicate balance between curiosity and care. What if we are not alone? What if we are neighbors, siblings? How should one sibling treat another? Perhaps the answer is not in action, but in attitude. To imagine a twin Earth is to cultivate humility, to remember that our world is not the measure of all worlds, that our story is not the only story. Encounter, whether it comes or not, invites us to act as though others matter, even those we may never meet. Close your eyes and picture two planets circling in silence. Each carries oceans, skies, perhaps civilizations. Each wonders about the other. Neither intrudes. Both endure. The ethical question lingers not in what is done, but in how they hold their presence, patient, cautious, aware. 2 worlds. 1 responsibility. To imagine care even in absence. The meditation drifts now to fragility, the delicate balance of 2 worlds sharing 1 orbit. For billions of years, the solar system has been a stage of stability and chaos intertwined. Planets circle steadily, yet comets arrive unannounced, asteroids wander, orbits shift under unseen influences. If Earth had a twin, how long could such a partnership last? Science offers grounding. Orbital mechanics show that co-orbital planets can be stable, but not always forever. Resonances tug, small forces accumulate, giants like Jupiter exert their influence. Over eons, even the most graceful balance can falter. 2 Earths might circle side by side for millions of years, then slowly drift apart. One could fall inward toward the sun, the other outward into colder dark. Or worse, the balance might fail catastrophically. The twin could spiral closer, its orbit intersecting ours. For a time, the skies of both planets would grow brighter, each visible to the other, looming, undeniable. Then gravity would decide their fate: collision, scattering, or capture. Entire worlds remade in a single encounter. Imagine the awe and fear of such a sky. On Earth, the twin rises not as a point of light, but as a vast disk filling the horizon. Mountains, oceans, clouds, visible from afar, drifting larger each night. Civilizations might see prophecy in its approach, myths made real in the firmament. And then, in silence, the encounter would come. An embrace of stone and fire, or a separation that leaves one planet broken, the other scarred forever. Philosophy whispers gently, is balance ever permanent? Every relationship, every harmony, carries within it the possibility of change. To imagine a twin Earth is to imagine not only companionship, but impermanence, the truth that even the closest orbits may not endure. Yet perhaps the fragility itself gives meaning. If 2 planets remain in step for billions of years, even if only temporarily, is that not a miracle of chance? To share a sun, an orbit, a history, even briefly, is enough to inspire wonder. Endings do not erase beginnings. Impermanence does, not erase presence. Close your eyes and picture 2 planets circling together, their balance delicate, their silence profound. Perhaps they last forever. Perhaps one day they drift apart. Either way, their shared orbit is real, their companionship undeniable, even if fleeting. The listener is invited to breathe with this thought: fragility does not diminish beauty. To imagine a twin Earth is to embrace both harmony and impermanence, to see in balance not certainty, but wonder. 2 worlds, 1 orbit, a fragile balance enduring for now, carrying silence into time. The meditation drifts now into memory of impact, the possibility that Earth's twin has already met us, not as a neighbor, but as a collision. The early solar system was violent, crowded with bodies circling in unstable orbits. Planets grew, not gently, but by crashing together, merging stone into larger stone. Earth itself was shaped by such encounters, its crust melted, its orbit steadied, its destiny written in fire. Science grounds this vision in one of our deepest theories, the giant impact hypothesis. Billions of years ago, a Mars-sized body, often called Theia, is thought to have struck the young Earth. The collision was catastrophic, vaporizing rock, scattering molten fragments into orbit. From that wreckage our moon was born, a constant companion, carved from violence. But what if Theia was not just any wandering body? What if it was Earth's twin? A co-orbital planet, once circling with us in balance, eventually pulled into our path. For millions of years, the 2 worlds may have danced in harmony until gravity faltered. Then, in one silent moment of inevitability, they met. The memory of that encounter remains not in stories, but in stone, in the moon, circling us still. Imagine this slowly. Two planets, alike in size, alike in orbit, circling a shared sun. They drift closer. For a time, each grows visible to the other, a looming sphere in the sky. Then the approach quickens. Impact comes, unimaginable in scale. Oceans boiled, skies filled with fire, crust shattered and remade. For both, individuality ends. What survives is neither one nor the other, but something new. Philosophy whispers, what if Earth itself is already a twin? What if we are not one world, but the fusion of two, our identity born from union, not solitude? In this view, Earth's story is not singular. It is doubled, a hybrid carrying the memory of companionship within its very stone. Close your eyes and picture the moon tonight. Its craters glow pale, its face ancient, serene. Yet behind that calm lies a history of violence, the debris of collision, the memory of a lost world. Perhaps the moon is not only our satellite, but the tomb of Earth's twin, circling forever as reminder that we were not always alone. What if every time we look at the moon, we are looking at fragments of another Earth? What if its silence is not emptiness, but witness? A world once alive, now dissolved into ours? The listener is invited to rest with this thought, that our planet may already carry its twin within it, that the ground beneath us may be part earth, part other, fused in ancient fire. Two planets. One collision. One world born of memory. The meditation drifts now to the moon again, not only as a companion, but as a possible relic. For ages it has circled above us, silent and constant, shaping tides, guiding calendars, inspiring myth. Yet its very existence is strange. Why does Earth have so large a moon, so close, unlike most other planets? Why does its composition echo our own crust, as if it were once part of us? Science offers the story. The moon may be the fragment of a collision, the remains of a body once whole. If so, perhaps it is not merely a satellite, but the last remnant of Earth's twin. Theia, the hypothetical planet, may not have vanished entirely. Pieces of it live on, bound into our moon, carried with us still through every orbit, every tide, every night of silence. Imagine it gently. The moon rises, glowing, pale. Its face is scarred with craters marred by shadows but luminous still. Perhaps it is more than stone. Perhaps it is memory. A memory of another Earth, broken and remade, preserved in orbit as a companion we cannot forget. Every tide that swells, every reflection of moonlight on water, may be a gesture of that lost planet, still whispering across time. Philosophy moves softly here. What if our solitude is an illusion, because we already carry our twin within us? Not beside us, not hidden, but circling always, reminding us that we are never truly one. What if the moon is not only satellite, but sibling, fragment of a lost planet, fragment of ourselves, both woven into one? Close your eyes and picture it. A night sky bright with full moonlight. The sea glimmers, fields glow faintly, silence deepens. You look upward, and in that glowing sphere you see not only stone, but history, the aftermath of a forgotten companion, the echo of a world that once was. What if our fascination with the moon, our endless myths and stories, are not arbitrary but ancestral? Perhaps something within us remembers, dimly, that it was once part of another world. Perhaps we feel its presence because it is us, because Earth and its twin are not separate, but joined, their fates fused forever into one orbit, one story. Thee, Listener is invited to linger here, with the moon as relic, as companion, as fragment of memory. Each night it rises is not only repetition, but reminder. Every gaze toward it is a glance into deep time, into the moment when two worlds met and became one. Two planets. One moon. One memory carried across every tide. The meditation turns now to geology once more. The geology of ghosts, the possibility that Earth's crust itself holds faint whispers of another world. Stone remembers in layers. Volcanoes erupt, asteroids strike, mountains rise and fall, and still the record endures, hidden in minerals, in isotopes, in craters that do not fade completely. If Earth once had a twin, perhaps its fragments linger, in our rocks, silent but real. Science grounds this thought. Researchers studying the deep mantle have found regions unlike the rest. Dense, ancient, chemically distinct. Some speculate these are remnants of Theia, the lost planet that may have struck Earth to form the moon. Buried thousands of kilometers beneath our feet, they are unreachable. Yet their presence hints that Earth is not only itself. It is part of something older, something merged, something hidden in silence. Imagine this quietly. You walk a mountain path, stones scattered beneath your feet. To the eye, they are ordinary granite, basalt, quartz, but within them may lie atoms born not of Earth alone, but of another planet's crust. You cannot see the difference, yet it is there, carried through time, mingled forever with our own geology. The ground beneath us may be the grave of a twin, its memory compressed into silence. Or picture the scars visible above. Craters scattered across continents and oceans, some faint with age, others sharp and young. Most are from asteroids. But what if one marks the echo of something greater? Fragments of a world colliding, scattered across the globe, later erased by erosion and plate tectonics. Earth heals itself, yet memory lingers in ways we barely detect. Philosophy whispers, what does it mean to stand on ghosts? To know that every step may touch fragments of another planet, another story, another silence? Perhaps the very concept of individuality falters here. Earth is not one, but many, layered and fused. We too, standing upon it, are never entirely ourselves. Close your eyes and imagine listening to stone. Not to its surface, but to its depth, its hidden record. Hear the echoes of collisions, the weight of vanished worlds, the quiet persistence of memory. The rocks beneath us may be the only voices left of a twin, carrying its story without words. What if all worlds carry such ghosts? What if every planet is not itself alone, but a mosaic of others, fused through impact and time? Then Earth's twin may not be separate at all, but within us, part of the very ground we walk. The listener is invited to linger with this thought, that geology is a library, and some of its volumes are not Earth's alone, that the ghosts of planets past remain, not in myth, but in stone. Two planets, one collision, one memory buried, but never lost. The meditation lifts now from stone into sight, into the instruments of the present, the ways we search for echoes of another Earth. For thousands of years we relied only on eyes, tracing the heavens with patience and myth. Now, with telescopes and satellites, we see farther, sharper, deeper into the cosmos. Still, the question lingers. Is there another world near us, hidden, circling with us unseen? Science grounds the search. Astronomers use orbital mechanics to test for anomalies, subtle deviations in Earth's path that could reveal a companion planet. They scan the Lagrange points, those gravitational harbors 60 degrees ahead and behind our orbit, looking for Trojan bodies. They watch the far side of the Sun through spacecraft that drift out of Earth's line of sight. No twin has yet appeared, But the search continues, quiet and persistent. Imagine the moment of discovery. A faint dot of light on a screen, first mistaken for noise, then confirmed as real. Over weeks it traces an orbit, matching Earth's precisely, hidden until now, by the sun. The realization dawns: we are not alone. Another Earth, another sphere of oceans and stone, has circled with us all along, unnoticed in the brilliance of the star, or perhaps the instruments reveal only fragments, asteroids, dust, echoes of collisions long past. In that case, the twin is gone, not circling with us but remembered in debris, in small bodies left behind. Silence remains, but silence with story. Philosophy moves gently here. Is discovery only about finding, or is it also about the act of looking? The search itself shapes us, whether or not we find what we seek. To seek a twin Earth is to admit that our own world may not be singular, that mystery may lie closer than we think. Close your eyes and picture a telescope in the stillness of night. A long mirror gathers faint light, photons that have traveled, across years, across silence. Somewhere in that light may be the reflection of another world. Somewhere in the data, hidden like a whisper, may be the twin we imagine tonight. What if discovery comes not through sight, but through patience? What if the twin is revealed slowly, in signals so faint we barely notice them, in shifts so subtle we almost dismiss them? Then discovery is not a sudden moment, but a gradual awakening, like dawn spreading across the horizon. The listener is invited to linger with this thought, that science itself is a form of wonder, a continuation of myth by other means. To build instruments is to extend our eyes, our ears, our reach into silence. To search is already to believe that there is something worth finding. Two worlds, one search, one silence that may yet unfold into vision. The meditation turns outward now, away from our own orbit, toward the stars, toward exoplanet mirrors, distant twins glimpsed across light years. In the last few decades, science has revealed thousands of worlds circling other suns. Some are giants of gas, some scorched deserts, some frozen spheres. A few resemble Earth in size and orbit, circling within the delicate band where water might remain liquid. Each discovery is like a whisper, reminding us that Earth is not alone. Imagine it. A planet orbiting a star hundreds of light-years away, its mass measured by the subtle tug it exerts, its atmosphere hinted at through the faintest dimming of starlight. To us, it is only a trace, a pattern in numbers, yet behind those numbers may lie oceans, continents, skies. Perhaps forests breathe there, unseen. Perhaps civilizations gaze upward, their own instruments searching the stars. Science grounds this. Wonder. Spectroscopy allows us to read the chemistry of distant atmospheres: water vapor, oxygen, methane, carbon dioxide. These are the fingerprints of habitability, and perhaps of life itself. Already, telescopes have glimpsed such signs. Not proof, but hints. The search for exoplanets is the search for echoes, for mirrors, for the possibility that Earth's story is not singular. Philosophy whispers softly, what if every Earth has its twin? What if the cosmos repeats, not exactly, but in pattern? Oceans here, oceans there, forests under different skies, civilizations in different languages. If so, our own imagined twin is not alone. It is one of many, part of a family of reflections, scattered across the galaxy. Close your eyes and picture two horizons. One belongs to our Earth, familiar with clouds and seas. The other belongs to a planet far away, unknown yet real, its dawns painted in colors we have never seen. Between them lies distance, but also kinship. Both orbit stars, both breathe silence, both endure time. And yet, the twin Earth closest to us, the one we imagine hidden in our own orbit, carries a different weight. It is not distant, not abstract. It is near, possible, intimate. To think of it alongside exoplanets is to realize that wonder is both far and near, both unreachable and perhaps waiting just beyond the sun. What if the true meaning of discovery lies not in distance but in recognition? What if, in finding exoplanets, we are really finding reflections of ourselves, learning to see Earth as one of many? And what if, by imagining a twin Earth near us, we learn to accept that repetition is not loss, but abundance? The listener is invited to linger with this. The night sky is filled with mirrors. Every star may hold a planet, every planet a story, every story a possibility of life. Earth may not be unique, but part of a vast chorus. And among those voices, perhaps one is closest of all, circling unseen, sharing our sun. 2 Earths near, countless Earths far. One cosmos, repeating itself in silence. The meditation turns now to rarity, the question of how often the cosmos grants a twin. Earth feels singular to us, precious beyond measure, a fragile jewel in a vastness of silence. Yet science shows abundance. Stars beyond counting, planets beyond number. Some are too hot, some too cold, some too distant. But among them, a few fall into the narrow band we call habitable. Still, habitability is not certainty. Water, atmosphere, chemistry, all must align. Life itself may require accidents so improbable they seem miraculous. If Earth had a twin circling with us, it would suggest that such miracles are not rare at all. 2 worlds alive in one orbit would whisper that the universe is generous, that repetition is woven into its fabric. But what if there is no twin? What if Earth truly is alone in its path, unmatched, solitary? Then, perhaps, rarity is real. Perhaps we are singular after all. The absence of a twin would remind us that life is fragile, that our existence is not inevitable, but precious beyond imagining. Science grounds the meditation. Astronomers estimate probabilities. Some models suggest billions of Earth-like planets may exist in our galaxy. Others argue that while planets are common, conditions for life may be vanishingly rare. Each discovery shifts the balance between rarity and abundance, yet the silence remains. No voices have answered. Philosophy moves softly here. Is it better to be rare or to be common? Rarity gives us weight. If we are singular, our responsibility to endure is immense. Abundance gives us kinship. If we are one of many, then we are part of a greater story, not alone, but accompanied. Close your eyes and picture a field of stars. Each star may hold planets, each planet its own silence. Some are barren, some fertile, some alive. Earth glows among them, fragile, luminous, improbable. If there is a twin circling with us, hidden beyond the sun, then rarity is softened. We are not unique, but doubled. If not, then our solitude becomes sharper, but also more profound. What if rarity itself is an illusion? What if abundance and rarity are 2 faces of the same truth? The universe may be filled with worlds, yet each is unique. No 2 oceans alike, no 2 skies identical, no 2 civilizations sharing the same path. Even if Earth has a twin, it is not the same, it is its own, rare in its difference. The listener is invited to linger with this, that rarity and abundance are not opposites, but companions. The cosmos is full of planets, yet each one is singular. Earth may have a twin, or it may not. Either way, its story is irreplaceable, and so is ours. 2 possibilities. 1 Earth, or 2. Both rare, both wondrous, both silent in the same starlight. The meditation turns toward meaning. the quiet human impulse to ask why. If Earth had a twin, what would its presence signify? Would it be only coincidence, the outcome of dust and gravity arranging themselves in symmetry? Or would it suggest that repetition itself has purpose, that the cosmos favors echoes, that creation is not singular but abundant in reflection? Science offers no answer here. It describes how worlds form, how orbits balance, how collisions shape futures. But science does not ask why a world exists, only how. The question of meaning belongs to us. A twin Earth, hidden yet near, would not only expand our maps, it would expand our sense of place. Imagine standing beneath the stars, knowing another world shares our sun, our orbit, our silence. The knowledge would change us, even if we never touched it. We would no longer think of Earth as solitary, but as one of a pair. Identity would shift, the very word Earth taking on a different weight. No longer the Earth, but this Earth. No longer the world, but one world among at least two. Philosophy whispers, meaning emerges not from certainty but from wonder. Perhaps the twin exists only in imagination. Even so, the imagining matters. It teaches us humility, companionship, the possibility that we are not alone. Whether real or speculative, the twin reflects something true, that solitude is not the only lens through which to see existence. Close your eyes and picture the horizon. The sun rises, light spilling across oceans and forests. Somewhere, perhaps, the same sun rises over another ocean, another forest, another silence. That thought alone reshapes the meaning of dawn. What if the twin is barren, silent forever? Even then, it has meaning. It reminds us that life is not guaranteed, that our existence is fragile, miraculous, worth protecting. What if it is alive, filled with forests and rivers? Then it has meaning as kin, a companion in silence, another verse in the same cosmic poem. And what if it once lived, but no longer? Then it is memory, reminder, prophecy, proof that life can rise and fall, proof that our story is not inevitable, but contingent, delicate. The listener is invited to linger here, in the space between explanation and meaning, to imagine the twin not only as planet, but as symbol, audiexei, mirror not just of Earth, but of ourselves, our questions, our fragility, our wonder. Two worlds. One meaning that existence is richer than certainty, and mystery is part of the gift. The meditation softens now into stillness, the silence between worlds. If Earth had a twin, circling with us unseen, then all along we have lived not in solitude, but in companionship veiled. Yet, even if it exists, the gap between us may never close. No signals cross, no ships travel, no certainty arrives. What remains is silence, deep and unbroken. Science grounds this thought. Distances in space are immense, even between close worlds. Communication is fragile, overwhelmed by noise, lost in interference. Travel is costly, time-consuming, bound by physics we cannot escape. Even a twin planet, sharing our sun, might remain forever unreachable, a presence known but never touched, and so the silence persists. Two planets circling, each carrying its own oceans, its own skies, its own histories. Each aware, perhaps, of the other, or perhaps not. Each living in the same light, but never in the same voice. Philosophy whispers. Silence is not absence. It is a form of connection. It allows imagination to breathe, possibility to endure. A twin Earth may never speak to us, yet its silence speaks already. It teaches us humility, patience, curiosity. It reminds us that not all mysteries are meant to be solved, and not all companionship requires words. Close your eyes and picture two worlds at once. Earth, filled with forests and cities, mountains and seas, and another, turning quietly on the other side of the sun. You cannot see it, you cannot hear it, yet you know it is there, circling, waiting, sharing the same dawn in its own horizon. What if that silence is the truest language? What if companionship does not require proof, only the willingness to imagine? Perhaps we are already in dialogue with our twin, not in words or signals, but in shared orbit, shared sunlight, shared endurance. The listener is invited to rest with this thought, that the silence between worlds is not empty, but full of wonder, full of possibility, full of presence beyond knowing. To breathe with it is to accept that mystery itself is a form of connection. Two planets, two silences, one rhythm circling the same sun. The meditation turns now toward destiny, the unfolding of futures when two Earths share one star. If a twin exists, what paths lie ahead? Do both endure together, circling in quiet harmony until the sun swells and consumes them? Or do their fates diverge, one falling silent, the other enduring, each carrying a different future into the dark? Science gives grounding. Stars evolve. In 5 billion years the sun will expand into a red giant, its warmth growing until oceans boil, atmospheres escape, surfaces burn. Earth, twin or not, will not remain habitable forever. Every world has its horizon, every orbit its end. But before that distant fire, many futures remain open. If both Earths bear life, perhaps one falters while the other thrives. Civilizations may rise on one, collapse on the other, each carrying the flame of thought for a time. Perhaps they alternate, like dancers in relay, each holding awareness while the other rests. Perhaps life endures on both, parallel civilizations unfolding in silence, never touching, yet never alone. Philosophy enters gently. Destiny is not always singular. Two worlds suggest two stories, each valid, each complete, neither dependent on the other. Yet companionship deepens meaning. To know that another world shares our orbit is to see destiny not as solitary, but as mirrored. Whatever happens here may also happen there, or not. Both possibilities remind us of chance, fragility, abundance. Close your eyes and picture it. Two planets circling together into the far future. Forests grow, wither, grow again. Civilizations rise, fade, rise again. Both endure, each in its own rhythm, each carrying its own destiny. Perhaps neither ever knows the other, yet both belong to the same story, the story of one sun, one orbit, two worlds. What if the twin outlives us? What if Earth falls silent, oceans gone, cities dust, while the twin still sings with life? Then destiny becomes larger than one planet. Life continues, even if not here. What if the reverse is true, and Earth becomes the last voice? Then our responsibility deepens, for we carry alone what might once have been shared. The listener is invited to linger here. Destiny is not fixed, not singular. It is possibility, unfolding in silence. Whether one world or two, the truth remains. Every orbit ends, every story shifts, every planet carries its own path. Two Earths, two destinies, one star holding both until time itself releases them. The meditation bends now into reflection, the way two Earths invite us to see ourselves more clearly. Alone, we think of our world as singular, unrepeatable. But with a twin, even imagined, Earth becomes relative, one among at least two. The very concept of the world changes. Science grounds this thought in perspective. The Copernican shift once displaced Earth from the center of the cosmos, teaching us humility. The discovery of galaxies multiplied that lesson. Exoplanets remind us again, we are not unique. A twin Earth close by would deepen this truth, not through distance, but through intimacy. It would show us that even here, even under the same sun, Earth is not solitary. Philosophy whispers gently. Reflection is both comfort and challenge. A twin Earth is mirror and question. If it thrives, are we its equal or its shadow? If it is barren, does that make us exceptional or only lucky? To know we are doubled is to ask not only what we are, but what we mean. Close your eyes and picture standing at dawn, the sun rising across the horizon. In that light, imagine knowing that the same dawn touches another ocean, another horizon, another silence. Would our own sunrise feel smaller or greater? Perhaps both. Reflection reduces us, but it also expands us. We are no longer one world, but part of a pair, part of a pattern larger than ourselves. What if that is the true purpose of a twin? Not proof, not contact, not even companionship, but perspective. To remind us that we are never the whole, only a part. To remind us that the cosmos is layered, abundant, mirrored, endless. The listener is invited to linger here. Reflection changes the one who reflects. To imagine Earth with a twin is to see our own world with new eyes, to see its oceans as fragile, its skies as precious, its silence as profound. A mirror does not answer, but it reveals. 2 planets. 1 reflection. 1 lesson, that we are both less and more than we thought. The meditation slows now, leaning into stillness, into the possibility that Earth's twin is not meant to be found. Perhaps it exists, hidden forever behind the sun, or scattered long ago into fragments, or merged into our own body as memory. Perhaps its purpose is not discovery, but imagination. Science gives grounding here too. Many hypotheses remain unproven not because they are false, but because they cannot be tested. A counter-Earth may never be visible from our orbit, always concealed by the sun's glare. If so, it may circle with us endlessly, a companion we can never confirm. In this way, the twin becomes less a physical body than a horizon of thought, a possibility that shapes our questions even if it never yields an answer. Philosophy whispers softly, some mysteries endure because they must. Not all doors open, not all silences break. The value of the twin may not be in its discovery, but in its invitation to wonder, to imagine, to expand our sense of possibility. Close your eyes and picture it. Earth turns beneath your feet. The sun rises and sets. Beyond it, unseen, perhaps another Earth turns as well, always hidden, always veiled, its silence deeper than our instruments, its presence beyond our proof. You will never see it. Yet, in imagining it, you change. What if this is the true twin? Not a planet of stone and water, but an idea, a reflection in thought, a companion made of silence, kept alive through curiosity. The cosmos may hold countless worlds, but the twin nearest to us may live only in imagination, and still be real in the way that wonder is real. The listener is invited to rest with this, that not all truths need discovery, not all mysteries need solving. To imagine Earth with a twin is already to expand what Earth means, to see our own world as part of a greater whole. The twin may never appear, and yet its silence is presence enough. 2 worlds. 1 unseen, 1 imagined, 1 silence that reshapes the way we dream. The meditation draws nearer to closing now, softening into horizon, the image of 2 Earths circling together until time itself fades. Whether real or imagined, the thought of a twin planet reshapes the sky. It reminds us that solitude is not certain, that companionship may be hidden, that reflection may be closer than we believe. Science grounds this in cycles. Orbits repeat. Seasons turn. Tides rise and fall. Planets endure in rhythm, bound to stars by gravity's patience. If Earth has a twin, it, too, follows this rhythm, circling endlessly, silent and faithful. If it does not, the rhythm remains, carried by us alone. Either way, the cosmos is a pattern, repeating itself in silence. Philosophy whispers gently. Horizons remind us that what we see is not all there is. The sun blinds us to half the orbit. Night hides half the sky. What if the unseen is as real as the seen? What if Earth's twin, whether planet or possibility, is part of that unseen horizon, present, though always out of reach? Close your eyes and picture the future. The sun sets across our oceans, casting gold into waves. Beyond the light, unseen, another horizon may mirror this one, another ocean glowing, another silence deepening. Two planets, two evenings, both, held in the same embrace of light. What if this is the lesson the twin carries? That Earth is never alone, that the cosmos always holds more than we can see. The twin may be real, or it may be only a question, but the question itself is gift enough. The listener is invited to linger with this thought. To imagine two Earths is to expand the heart, to breathe with wonder, to sleep with mystery close at hand. The twin does not need to be proven. It only needs to be imagined. Two horizons, two silences, one orbit, one sun, one infinite rhythm. Night deepens and the world turns. The planet completes another slow rotation. One day slipping into another, coastlines carried from dusk toward dawn. Moonlight skims the oceans like a thin river of silver, then fades. Air cools, leaves still, cities soften to a hush. In this quiet, the imagining grows lighter, like breath. He listens to the sky that holds everything, and the sky answers only with space. She feels the steadiness of stone beneath, ancient and patient, and the stone answers only with time. Far, offshore, the ocean breathes in long, even waves, a rhythm older than language. Each crest rises, settles, forgets. Each trough returns, remembers. What if somewhere, as Earth drifts into darkness, another shore drifts too, unknown sand under the same star, another tide folding itself smooth? What if another silence holds the same softness, the same weightless? Pause before sleep. Imagine the horizon as a single line shared across two worlds, the sun hidden just beneath it, preparing the faintest thread of light. Imagine a wind you cannot hear moving over both seas at once, smoothing thought the way a ripple smooths itself into glass. He watches a single star through the window, one point steady against the slow turning of the night, and the mind grows quiet. She counts her breaths, one, then another, and the body settles like silt in calm water. Gravity holds softly. Time loosens its knot. The house, the street, the hills, the continents, the clouds, each rests in the same invisible cradle. What if the universe means only this in the end? A shared hush, a shared drift, a shared belonging in the dark? No answer needed, only the even pulse of the earth, the unhurried sweep of its shadow, the delicate slide of constellations toward morning. Close, the eyes. Let sky become ocean, ocean become stone, stone become silence. Drift, sleep well.